Chapter 477. Ning Shu was not willing to protect Shangguan Qingrou, but she did not have the right to say no due to her status. She was just a death warrior with no thoughts of her own. If she showed even the slightest bit of unwillingness, what awaited her was destruction. Ning Shu still had 10 people above her, and they were ranked according to their abilities. Ning Shu could not beat them, or at least she could not beat them now. Ning Shu had already decided how to proceed with this mission. She did not need to interfere with Xian Hongyu at all, and she could not interfere. When Xian Hongyu was defeated, she would go and save him as long as he was alive. She did not need to care about anything else. Ning Shu began to practice her ultimate martial arts. When the sky turned dark, Ning Shu sneaked into the kitchen to find something to eat, then returned to the tree to cultivate. But there were really so many mosquitoes. Ning Shu slapped her face, killing a mosquito. She scratched her itch, then remembered Xian Hongyu's meaningful gaze. Should she go back to the prince's residence? Ning Shu climbed over the wall and left the minister's residence. When she returned to the prince's residence, she saw that the light in Xian Hongyu's study was still lit. After hesitating for a moment, Ning Shu knocked on the door. Xian Hongyu's cold voice came from inside. "Come in." Ning Shu pushed the door open and entered. She saw Xian Hongyu writing something with a brush. The light shone on him, making him look hazy. "Master." Ning Shu knelt on one knee. Xian Hongyu was expressionless. In front of Ning Shu, he was cold and dignified. His body exuded an oppressive aura. Xian Hongyu raised his head and glanced at Ning Shu, who was kneeling on the ground. He dipped the brush in his hand in ink and said, "You came later than I thought, but at least you came." Ning Shu, so that meaningful gaze was for her to come back. How could she understand a gaze? It was a coincidence that she was able to come back. Plus, there were so many mosquitoes on the tree. Ning Shu's face was stiff, and she did not say anything. Xian Hongyu continued to draw on the Xian paper, writing faster and faster. Finally, he slammed the brush down, and the paper was splashed with ink. Xian Hongyu frowned, crumpled the paper into a ball and threw it away. Ning Shu was speechless. "Can you not make me kneel?" Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu and said, "Do you know what your mission is?" "I know." "Rest assured, Master. This subordinate will definitely protect Miss Shangguan well and not let Miss Shangguan encounter any danger," Ning Shu said solemnly. Xian Hongyu didn't have any reaction to Ning Shu's impassioned speech. In short, his face was indifferent, which made Ning Shu feel awkward. "Other than protecting Shangguan Qingrou's safety, you have another mission. This prince wants to know what Shangguan Qingrou does every day, who she meets, no matter how big or small." Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu. "Can you do that?" Ning Shu rolled his eyes and pondered over Xian Hongyu's words. He asked, "Master, what does this mean?" "Anything," Xian Hongyu said calmly. "What does this anything include?" Ning Shu asked again, "Do I have to report what I'm wearing, what I'm eating, and who I'm talking to?" Xian Hongyu nodded. Ning Shu stared blankly at him, speechless. "Fuck, why is he so perverted? I feel like I'm about to become a stalker. This possessiveness is more than a little scary. He wants to know everything, including when Shangguan Qingrou wakes up, when she eats, when she goes to the toilet, whether it's big or small, when her period comes." Ning Shu's face was calm and expressionless, but his heart was about to break down. "You have to pay special attention to Shangguan Qingrou's men. You have to report to me what those men say or do. Do you understand?" Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu coldly. "Can you do that?" Ning Shu knew that if he said no, he would be beaten to death. He nodded and said, "This subordinate will definitely record it." Ning Shu felt like he still had to ask clearly. "If Miss Shangguan speaks to her father or the manservants in the residence, do you also have to record it?" Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu coldly, as if he was dissatisfied with Ning Shu's ability to understand. "Any man." Ning Shu was speechless. His heart was tired. This bastard should just die. Why did he save him? He's just a burden. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have come back. The moment he came back, he added so many tasks. Xian Hongyu threw a book to Ning Shu. Ning Shu flipped it open and saw that it was filled with white paper. Xian Hongyu said, In the future, record everything here. Ning Shu had to pretend to be happy and honored to accept this task. In the future, not only would she have to carry a sword, but she would also have to carry the 4 treasures of the study. She would write wherever she went. There was nothing left to live for. Ning Shu returned to the minister's residence. The first thing he did was to sneak into Shangguan Rou's room. Shangguan Rou was sleeping very soundly. Even when she was asleep, she was still very beautiful. Shangguan Rou's body was really quite good. In addition, her soul had changed, and her temperament had changed as well. This made Shangguan Rou stand out among the noble ladies. She attracted the attention of the nobles. Ning Shu returned to the tree and took out the book. Under the weak light of the torch, Ning Shu wrote in the book. Miss Shangguan slept very soundly. After turning over, she even smiled. This subordinate thinks that Miss Shangguan dreamed of Master. Damn, why did she do all these things? His heart was stifled. Ning Shu was afraid that Xian Hongyu would also make him abnormal. Then Ning Shu wrote that Shangguan Rou woke up at night to go to the toilet. After going to the toilet, she didn't wash her hands and drank a cup of water. After recording all these things, she began to cultivate her ultimate martial arts. Nothing was more important than strength. However, the current Ning Shu had already cultivated Qi Jin. However, the Qi Jin was very weak. With this small amount of Qi Jin, he was able to transform his body and improve his physical fitness. The original owner's body was actually very exhausted. He had been training non-stop in the base. His hands were covered in thick calluses. These were the result of holding a knife handle since young. Actually, even if this body didn't die during the mission, it wouldn't live for long and couldn't die of old age. The Qi Jin of the ultimate martial arts slowly healed the body's internal injuries. However, the downside was that Ning Shu always wanted to eat. He was too hungry. There were too many things to eat. Ning Shu didn't look for food in the minister's residence. Instead, he ran out and spent some money to buy trays of buns and roasted chicken. It was simply a delicacy. Ning Shu's daily life, other than cultivating, was to record Shangguan Rou's situation. Then, late at night, he would go to the prince's residence to give the book to Xian Hongyu. Every time he saw Xian Hongyu holding the book, his handsome face would have an expression like that of an idiot. Ning Shu felt disgusted. Actually, Shangguan Rou was also quite miserable. Without her knowing, everything about her was exposed to Xian Hongyu. She was living under Xian Hongyu's control. To have absolute control over Shangguan Rou, this level of control had already surpassed the jealousy between lovers. It was a morbid emotion. Did the original owner know that his mistress was so sick? Chapter 478. Xian Hongyu was attracted to Shangguan Rou, to the point that he was unable to extricate himself. It had already become a kind of obsession. This kind of feeling was not something that normal people could bear. It would only make people feel suffocated and want to escape. Perhaps in the eyes of normal people, Xian Hongyu was like a madman. Once Shangguan Rou was involved, he would become a madman. No wonder Shangguan Rou did not hesitate to kick Xian Hongyu away and get together with the 5th prince Xian Shaotian. I am a woman of the new era. How can I accept such inhumane conditions? I'm just me. I'm not yours. I do not belong to anyone. I have my own thoughts. I am a person with dignity, not an emotionless toy. Ning Shu really wanted to grab Xian Hongyu and stop him from running further and further down the path of death. Master, please calm down. Please don't seek death. Xian Hongyu closed the book and said indifferently, very good. Record it like this in the future. Ning Shu said with a straight face, thank you for your praise, Master. Ning Shu hesitated and said, Master, since you like Miss Shangguan, you should marry her. That way, Xian Hongyu would not be able to stare at someone else's wife and grit his teeth. Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu indifferently. His eyes were sharp and cold. He coldly scolded, impudent. Ning Shu was helpless. He half knelt on the ground and apologized, Master, please forgive me. I spoke out of turn. Xian Hongyu was angry that she was ordering him around. They were not on the same level. She could not even voice her opinion. Ning Shu also gave up on matchmaking Xian Hongyu and Shangguan Qingrou. Practicing martial arts was the way to go. When Xian Hongyu was about to be destroyed, he would just save his life. Remember your own status. Xian Hongyu's face was cold. He threw the book to Ning Shu. Ning Shu put the book away and returned to the minister's residence to protect Shangguan Qingrou. Ning Shu did what a shadow guard should do. Ning Shu did not want to participate in other things. The plot would develop as it should. However, this mission was not easy at all. Shangguan Qingrou loved to attend banquets, and was the kind of person who loved to play and try new things. She had to follow behind Shangguan Qingrou. Every banquet would attract the attention of a large number of men. Even on the streets and in restaurants, there would be handsome men. This was a collection of beautiful men. Furthermore, these men more or less had a favorable impression of Shangguan Qingrou. Even if they didn't like her, they still treated her as a friend. Perhaps it was Shangguan Qingrou's unpretentious and casual attitude that made these men feel refreshed. In this era, men and women were all courteous when they met, and they were all reserved in front of men, abiding by etiquette, and would not do anything impolite. Unlike Shangguan Qingrou, who was so lively and refreshing, Shangguan Qingrou did not have any barriers between men and women. She patted the man's shoulder and called him brother. Thus, no matter where Shangguan Qingrou went, no matter what banquet she attended, she was able to converse with the men she knew. Ning Shu, on the other hand, felt that Shangguan Qingrou enjoyed being surrounded by handsome men, enjoying this kind of pursuit. Before she transmigrated, she was just a normal girl who didn't have much attraction, but as soon as she transmigrated, she had the charm to attract handsome men. It was normal for her thoughts to float. Ning Shu recorded all of this down, then gave it to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu looked at what was recorded in the book. His body emitted a black aura. His pupils trembled, showing that he was very angry. Ning Shu was gloating in her heart, but on the surface, she looked indifferent. As Shangguan Qingrou met more and more men, every time she met a man and talked to him, Xian Hongyu would become unhappy. The unhappy Xian Hongyu would find trouble with the man. If the man's status wasn't high enough, he would cause some trouble and make the man suffer. If the man's status was high enough, Xian Hongyu would keep quiet and do bad things behind his back. Xian Hongyu had been holding himself back from hurting Shangguan Qingrou, but in the end he still exploded. Xian Hongyu pulled Shangguan Qingrou into his mansion, first confessing his love to her. "Qingrou, my heart is in love with you." Shangguan Qingrou's face reddened, a bit embarrassed, looking at the noble Xian Hongyu. She also had a good impression of him. Xian Hongyu saw that she didn't say anything, and became impatient. "Can your heart be in love with me?" Shangguan Qingrou did have feelings for Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu's status was noble, and he was a peerless talent. Xian Hongyu was the most perfect man Shangguan Qingrou had ever seen. Shangguan Qingrou was very happy that such a good man liked her. In the modern world, men with good conditions wouldn't even care about her. "Yes," Shangguan Qingrou nodded. Xian Hongyu smiled brightly, making his eyes look like a painting. "Then you are mine. If you betray me, I will kill you." Shangguan Qingrou, who was immersed in the atmosphere of a beautiful man confessing to her, suddenly shivered, and turned to Xian Hongyu, stuttering as she asked, What did you say?" "I said you are mine. You can only talk to me. You are not allowed to talk to other men, or else I will kill you." Xian Hongyu's eyes were smiling and happy, but the words he said were very cruel and eerie. Ning Shu, who was squatting on the tree watching the show, "Fuck, if it was me, I would have run away as soon as I heard that." Shangguan Qingrou was clearly frightened, but she still argued, straightening her neck and saying, "How can you be like this? What right do you have to not let me talk to other men? Aren't you being too nosy?" Hearing that, Xian Hongyu's face darkened, but he still said, "Be obedient, or else I will really kill you." Shangguan Qingrou was about to die from anger. "This man is too domineering. Just because he confessed to me, does that mean I belong to him now? I don't like a male chauvinist sand pig like you." Shangguan Qingrou turned to leave. The little bit of good feelings she had for Xian Hongyu instantly disappeared. She wanted a man who could understand her and accept her, not a man who controlled her like this. Xian Hongyu's face did not look good. He tightly pursed his lips, grabbed Shangguan Qingrou's wrist, and asked in a low voice, "You don't like me?" "Yes, I don't like you." Shangguan Qingrou said loudly. Faced with this situation, Ning Shu thought that according to the normal plot, Xian Hongyu should have pushed Shangguan Qingrou against the wall and then kissed her wildly, making her dizzy and lightheaded. With Xian Hongyu's looks, everything would have been solved. Xian Hongyu did push Shangguan Qingrou against the wall, but he did not kiss her. Instead he strangled Shangguan Jing's neck and said, "Be good, don't make me angry, or I will kill you." Ning Shu saw that Shangguan Qinrou's face was red from being strangled. He quickly jumped down from the tree and shouted at Xian Hongyu, "Master! If this continues, Shangguan Qinrou will die." Chapter 479. Ning Shu reminded Xian Hongyu. Shangguan Qinrou's face turned purple, and she was shocked beyond words. Her beautiful face was distorted, and tears streamed down her face. Xian Hongyu came back to his senses after being called by Ning Shu. He suppressed the anger and helplessness in his heart and let go of Shangguan Qinrou's neck. Shangguan Qinrou slid down the wall and fell to the ground, coughing and gasping for air. She looked at Xian Hongyu with fear and disgust in her eyes. She could feel that this man wanted to kill her. He said he liked her, but he wanted to kill her. Shangguan Qinrou got up from the ground and ran away in a hurry. Xian Hongyu looked at Shangguan Qinrou's back and clenched his fists. He lowered his head slightly, and a few strands of hair fell down his forehead, forming a shadow on his flawless face. Ning Shu looked at him from the side. At this moment, Xian Hongyu looked helpless and lost, without the anger he had when he was strangling Shangguan Qinrou. To this, Ning Shu could only say, "You deserve it." The way he expressed his feelings was too unbearable, especially when he was strangling Shangguan Qinrou's neck while saying that she belonged to him and that he loved her. The way he said it was so affectionate, full of love. It was too intense, too extreme. "Master, do you still want me to protect Miss Shangguan?" Ning Shu asked Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu raised his head and looked coldly at Ning Shu. His voice was cold and emotionless. Like before, protect her safety. This prince wants to know her whereabouts. Xian Hongyu turned and left, as if he didn't want to say another word to Ning Shu. Xian Hongyu's attitude made Ning Shu feel at ease. It was best to ignore him. Those who were cared for by Xian Hongyu were always suffering. Ning Shu ran out of the prince's residence. Shangguan Qinrou saw her crying and wiping her tears. She didn't look where she was going and kept bumping into people on the street. She almost crashed into the carriage, but luckily Ning Shu pulled her out of the way. Shangguan Qinrou's face was pale, and the marks on her neck were very obvious. Shangguan Qinrou's expression froze as she stiffly turned her head to look at Ning Shu. Then she reached out her hand and pushed Ning Shu away, shouting at him with a hoarse voice, "Get lost, I don't want to see you, I don't want your protection, you're Xian Hongyu's man." Ning Shu frowned. Why was he angry with her? If he had the ability, he could go and fight with Xian Hongyu. Furthermore, she had just saved Shangguan Qinrou's life from the horse's hooves, yet the other party still had this kind of attitude, which made Ning Shu very annoyed. Even if she was ordered to protect Shangguan Qinrou, she did not owe Shangguan Qinrou anything. Venting his anger towards Xian Hongyu on her, Ning Shu took a few steps back, ignoring the shocked Shangguan Qinrou. "Yo, who's this?" A sloppy voice sounded. A palanquin stopped in front of Shangguan Qinrou. The curtains were lifted by a fan, and a man walked out. This man had a ruffian air about him, but his temperament was noble. He was the kind of yuppie, romantic but not vulgar. Most importantly, he had a good face and a pair of long peach blossom eyes, making him look very seductive. Xian Hongyu's temperament was cold and unparalleled, while Xian Xiaoyan's was carefree and unrestrained. Ning Shu looked at this man, thinking, Shangguan Qinrou had just been wronged, and the male lead had already come online. At this time, the female lead needed the male lead to comfort her broken heart. Shangguan Qinrou looked at this man and rolled her eyes, saying angrily, "What does it have to do with you? A good dog doesn't block the way." Xian Xiaotian opened his fan with a whoosh and glanced at Shangguan Qinrou. "You dare to call this highness a dog? If you continue to be so impolite to this highness, be careful that this highness will punish you for the crime of disrespect." Shangguan Qingrou looked at this despicable man and was about to die from anger. Enemies truly meet on a narrow road, meeting him at such a difficult time. Shangguan Qingrou hated this man and said angrily, "Then punish me for disrespect, throw me in jail, and chop off my head." Xian Xiaotian was choked by Shangguan Qinrou's words and closed his fan. "Damn girl, you ate the wrong medicine. You're the one who ate the wrong medicine, your whole family ate the wrong medicine." Shangguan Qinrou scolded Xian Xiaotian without thinking. Ning Shu was on the side as a passerby. When he heard Shangguan Qinrou's words, he was speechless. Is this a big-breasted brainless person, or is she fearless? Shangguan Qinrou even scolded the emperor. Xian Shaoan used his fan to slap Shangguan Qinrou's picture and said unhappily, "Damn girl, you've got guts. Is this highness someone you can scold?" Shangguan Qinrou finally reacted and stuck out her tongue, feeling a bit guilty. Xian Xiaotian didn't blame Shangguan Qinrou, but instead helped her cover it up. He was actually protecting Shangguan Qinrou. This was actually a pair of quarrelsome lovers. Xian Xiaotian met Shangguan Qinrou at a banquet and directly said that Shangguan Qinrou's songs were immoral. This made Shangguan Qinrou very unhappy. She had been singing these kinds of songs ever since she came to the ancient times. Everyone said it was very special, but this man said it was immoral. Actually, Ning Shu also agreed with 5th Prince Xian Xiaotian's words. After all, modern popular songs were very straightforward and were all about love. In this conservative and tactful ancient times, it was indeed shocking. At that time, Shangguan Qinrou was unhappy and asked Xian Xiaotian to sing a song to see what he could sing. Xian Xiaotian said that he wasn't a prostitute and couldn't sing. The two of them started a feud, and whenever they saw each other, they would scold each other. Shangguan Qinrou felt that she was very unlucky today. First it was Xian Hongyu, then it was this Xian Xiaotian. Both of them couldn't get along with her. So what if he was a prince, he could bully people like this? Shangguan Qinrou turned and left. Xian Xiaotian saw this little pepper's angry look and was a bit surprised. He reached out and grabbed Shangguan Qinrou's arm. He pulled her clothes, revealing the bruises under her collar. Xian Shaoan looked at the bruises and froze, then asked with a cold face, "Who did this?" Shangguan Qinrou quickly covered her neck and said hatefully, "It's none of your business. I'm asking you, who did this?" Xian Xiaotian looked at Shangguan Qinrou and asked coldly, "It's none of your business." Shangguan Qinrou's eyes were red. She wanted to shake off Xian Xiaotian's hand, but Xian Xiaotian grabbed her arm tightly. Shangguan Qinrou's tears fell. "You're all bullying me, all bullying me." Xian Xiaotian froze. Seeing Shangguan Qinrou cry, his lips moved and he pulled Shangguan Qinrou into his sedan. Shangguan Qinrou jumped in fright and forgot to wipe her tears. "What are you doing?" "It's none of your business." "Start the sedan," Xian Xiaotian said. Ning Shu hesitated, then followed. Hearing all kinds of conversations from the sedan, although they were arguing, Ning Shu felt that the two were flirting. "Xianshan, you bastard, let go of me or I'll show you." "Show me? I'll show you first." "You bastard, you're taking advantage of me." Chapter 480. When they reached Xian Xiaotian's residence, Xian Xiaotian got off the carriage and pulled Shangguan Qinrou into his residence. Ning Shu did not rashly jump over the wall to enter the residence. He sensed the presence of similar people in the surroundings. They should be Xian Xiaotian's secret guards, guarding the safety of the 5th prince's residence. After thinking about it, Ning Shu openly entered and stood guard at the door, listening in on the various conversations inside. Xian Xiaotian wanted to apply medicine for Shangguan Qinrou, but she refused. Xian Xiaotian threatened to strip her naked and apply the medicine. Shangguan Qinrou felt wronged and angry, and obediently let Xian Xiaotian apply the medicine. Ning Shu watched the interaction between the two and felt that the entire room was filled with love bubbles. Ning Shu felt that Xian Xiaotian liked Shangguan Qinrou and purposely used this method to attract her attention. This was the right way for love to unfold. As for her master, Xian Hongyu, there was no need to talk about him. Ning Shu could only sigh. Luckily, this mission was to save Xian Hongyu. She did not need to care about anything else, so there was no conflict with these people. Even if she wanted to help Xian Hongyu, she could not do anything. She was a death warrior and could not do anything beyond her status. This would make Xian Hongyu feel that this death warrior was not under his control. The mission was clear and simple, but it was troublesome to have such a master. Xian Xiaotian did not know what medicine he applied on Shangguanqing Rou, but it made the bruises on her neck disappear a little. No matter how Xian Xiaotian asked Shangguanqing Rou, she refused to tell him how the bruises on her neck came about. Xian Xiaotian did not ask and sent Shangguanqing Rou back to the minister's residence. Ning Shu was about to jump over the wall to enter the minister's residence when he was stopped by Xian Xiaotian. Ning Shu looked at Xian Xiaotian, who stopped him and asked, "Fifth Prince, do you need something?" Xian Xiaotian fanned himself with his fan, his body exuding an oppressive aura, and asked Ning Shu, "You are Shangguanqing Rou's secret guard, right? I want to know what happened to Shangguanqing Rou. This is Miss's business. If Miss doesn't want to tell you, I can't tell you either." Ning Shu shook his head and said. Xian Xiaotian closed his fan and tapped his palm lightly with the fan. He said carelessly, "That's not up to you." Suddenly, several people appeared and surrounded Ning Shu. Ning Shu felt gloomy. She couldn't bear to force Shangguanqing Rou, so she tried to pry open her mouth. Even if Xian Xiaotian knew that Xian Hongyu was the culprit, he couldn't find out from her mouth. She was a death warrior loyal to Xian Hongyu, a death warrior who was willing to die for her master. How could she betray her master? How did she get the marks on her neck? Xian Xiaoning Shu asked, "Do you want to say it yourself, or do you want me to tie you up and say it? If you do, you might lose an arm or a leg. You're not someone from the minister's residence. Who's your master?" Xian Xiaotian looked coldly at Ning Shu. "What's your purpose in following Shangguanqing Rou?" Ning Shu didn't say anything. He gripped his sword tightly and looked at the four people surrounding him. 4 against 1, Ning Shu wasn't sure how strong these 4 people were. Shangguanqing Rou was quite lucky. There was always a man protecting her from behind and loving her. Tie him up. Xian Xiaotian didn't want to waste time talking. He retreated to the side and let the shadow guards tie up Ning Shu. The 4 shadow guards rushed forward. Ning Shu used his qi to fight with them. His strength was not much weaker than these shadow guards, and it was still 4 against 1. Ning Shu couldn't take it. He touched the bag at his waist and sprinkled white powder on the 4 people. In order to avoid the white powder, the 4 people gave Ning Shu time to catch his breath. Ning Shu immediately escaped without a trace. Ning Shu circled around the capital in fear of being followed. After circling for more than 2 hours, Ning Shu returned to the 3rd prince's residence. When Xian Hongyu saw Ning Shu, he frowned. "Why are you back? This prince asked you to follow Shangguanqing Rou." Ning Shu quickly told Xian Hongyu the whole story. When Xian Hongyu heard about Xian Xiaotian and Shangguanqing Rou, he immediately frowned. Especially when he heard that Xian Xiaotian wanted to take off his clothes to apply medicine for Shangguanqing Rou. He directly crushed the jade pendant in his hand, his expression cold and treacherous. Ning Shu didn't care about Xian Hongyu's feelings at all. She was more concerned about what she should do next. She asked Xian Hongyu, "Master, is this subordinate still going to protect Miss Shangguan?" She didn't want to go. She really didn't want to go. "Look at my longing eyes." Ning Shu stared at Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu didn't even bother to look at Ning Shu. He held a pen in his hand and quickly wrote something. When he held the pen, his hand was trembling. "Of course it's to protect Shangguanqing Rou," Xian Hongyu said without raising his head. "Ning Shu, why did she still have to protect Shangguanqing Rou? So what if she protected her? She didn't even get a good word from her." Ning Shu agreed, then said to Xian Hongyu, "What about the 5th prince? This prince will take care of him. You stay by Shangguanqing Rou's side. Especially the matters between her and the 5th prince. You must tell this prince everything." Xian Hongyu said coldly. Ning Shu agreed, then went back to protect Shangguanqing Rou. She knew that Shangguanqing Rou didn't like her, so Ning Shu never appeared in front of her. To be honest, Ning Shu also felt bad when she saw Shangguanqing Rou. She also had to record all kinds of things about Shangguan Qingrou. These things were annoying to Ning Shu, but Xian Hongyu insisted on it. He even recorded everything no matter how big or small. Ning Shu wanted Xian Hongyu to quickly be defeated, then save Shangguan Qingrou and run away. That way, she wouldn't have to do such annoying things every day. Ning Shu leaned on the tree and wrote in her book. After she finished, she continued to practice her peerless martial arts. Her strength was still not enough. She couldn't even deal with Xian Xiaoyan's 4 hidden guards. If she really went to save Shangguan Qingrou, she would die. Ning Shu didn't want to participate in these people's love affairs. Every day, other than practicing martial arts, she recorded who Shangguan Qingrou met with. She had already gotten used to doing these things every day. After the mission ended, Ning Shu felt that she should find a psychiatrist to see if her heart was still okay. Because of the medicine incident last time, 5th Prince Xian Xiaotian and Shangguan Qingrou's relationship had undergone a subtle change. Although they were still fighting, there was always a sour and sweet taste in the air. The two of them were probably in an ambiguous state. They were just short of breaking the window paper. Okay, looks like her master is completely hopeless. Ever since Shangguan Qingrou was strangled by Xian Hongyu, she never went to find Xian Hongyu again. Although Shangguan Qingrou didn't go to find Xian Hongyu, she was always exposed to Xian Hongyu's eyes. Xian Hongyu knew her like the back of his hand. Xian Xiaotian often came to find Shangguan Qingrou, bringing her to the outskirts to ride horses or to participate in the Lantern Festival. In short, he specially made fun things for her. He knew that Shangguan Qingrou liked novel things, so he catered to her interests. Chapter 481. Xian Xiaotian and Shangguan Qingrou's current situation was like a modern man and woman going on a date. To put it bluntly, Xian Xiaotian was currently pursuing Shangguan Qingrou. Xian Xiaotian was using the method that Shangguan Qingrou wanted to use to pursue her. Shangguan Qingrou was a modern woman, so she didn't have any psychological pressure when going out with men. In the beginning, Shangguan Qingrou didn't even look at Xian Xiaotian, and still hated him for saying that her singing was immoral. But when Xian Xiaotian brought her out to play, and sometimes he could even create some surprises, Shangguan Qingrou felt that this person was not bad. Although he was a bit flowery, compared to the cold and unpredictable Xian Hongyu, he was much better. Compared to Xian Hongyu, who always said that he wanted to kill her, Xian Xiaotian was much more considerate. His only flaw was that he always liked to take advantage of her, and always liked to say things that made her blush. Every time the two went out, Ning Shu would thicken his face and follow them. Of course, he wouldn't ruin the atmosphere between the two, and would just follow them from afar. Ning Shu felt that there were still shadow guards following Xian Xiaotian, and they should be protecting him. He didn't know what Xian Hongyu said to Xian Xiaotian, but when Xian Hongyu saw Ning Shu, he didn't let the shadow guards attack her. But Ning Shu had the mentality of watching a good show, so every time Xian Xiaotian and Shangguan Qingrou went out, Ning Shu would record these sweet moments for Xian Hongyu to see. Every time Xian Hongyu saw this, his face would be very calm, so calm that it was abnormal. Then, Xian Hongyu would guard the tea house not far from the Shangshu estate, and as soon as Xian Xiaotian and Shangguan Qingrou went out, he would immediately follow. What was supposed to be a sweet date between two people instantly became a threesome, especially when Xian Hongyu's face was cold the whole time, and the black qi around him suppressed the pink bubbles. Xian Xiaotian fanned himself, still looking confident, but his peach blossom eyes were dark. Xian Hongyu's gaze was always on Shangguan Qingrou, completely ignoring Xian Xiaotian, whose face was starting to darken. Ning Shu watched from a distance. These two brothers were going to kill each other for a woman. What a merry Sue! If Shangguan Qingrou was a capable woman, a peerless beauty, it would be normal for her to attract men's attention. But Shangguan Qingrou was not that capable. If dancing a horse and singing Little Apple were considered capable, then Ning Shu would be speechless. Compared to the noble ladies, she lacked the dignified and noble aura of a noble lady. She appeared overly lively, and sometimes even seemed a little crazy. In the end, after Xian Xiaotian ascended the throne, he did not take in any concubines, allowing Shangguan Qingrou to live a comfortable life. Otherwise, with Shangguan Qingro's personality, she would not be able to win against a woman who knew the rules of this era. How important it is to marry a good man. Even though Shangguan Qinro talks about her self-respect and self-respect, I only belong to myself, I don't belong to anyone, blah blah blah. She thought she had modern and new ideas, but in fact, she was the same as the women of this era. Her husband was honorable, and she relied on her man to climb to a high position and live a happy life. Shangguan Qinro also relied on Xian Shaotian to survive, and all she relied on was Xian Shaotian's love for her. They were all women waiting for a man to pamper them. Shangguan Qinro was very dissatisfied with Xian Hongyu's arrival, especially when she saw Xian Hongyu looking at her with a gaze that made her heart palpitate. It made Shangguan Qinro's hair stand on end. In short, the atmosphere between the three of them was very strange and stiff, and the atmosphere was not pleasant at all. Shangguan Qinro was so angry that she turned and left. As soon as she left, the two men behind her followed. Wherever she went, the two men followed. Xian Hongyu and Xian Shaotian were like brothers on the surface, calling each other third brother and fifth brother, but in private, there was a surging undercurrent. The atmosphere was not good, so of course they could not continue to play. Shangguan Qinro could only return home. The two brothers stood at the door and watched Shangguan Qinro enter the house. Then, the atmosphere between the two of them changed. Shangguan Qinro is my woman, don't have any ideas about her. She can only be mine. Even if I destroy her, I will not give her to anyone else, Xian Hongyu said coldly to Xian Shaotian. Xian Shaotian fanned himself. Let's see who has the ability. The marks on Shangguan Qinro's neck were caused by you, right? You hurt her like this, how could she be happy with you? Xian Hongyu's face flashed with a gloomy expression. He coldly snorted and turned to get on the sedan. Seeing Ning Shu not far away, he narrowed his eyes. Fuck, it's that meaningful gaze again. Ning Shu really wanted to pretend that she did not see it. She and Xian Hongyu basically communicated with their eyes. Who the hell knows what he wants to say? Seeing Xian Hongyu leave, Xian Shaotian also got on his own sedan. However, he also glanced at Ning Shu, and his peach blossom eyes flashed with a trace of light and haze. Ning Shu, why is he looking at her, a shadow guard? At night, Ning Shu hid in a dense tree branch to practice martial arts. When she heard light footsteps, she immediately stopped practicing. Parting the leaves, she saw Xian Shaotian standing outside Shangguan Qinro's room. Xian Shaotian tidied his clothes, then opened the window and jumped in. Ning Shu really wanted to yell, "There's a flower thief here." She pricked up her ears to listen to the movements in the room. Rustling sounds came from inside, followed by Shangguan Qinro's voice. 11, 11. Shangguan Qinro's voice was not loud, but it was just enough for Ning Shu, who was standing guard outside, to hear. Ning Shu hesitated for a moment, then lightly jumped down from the tree. She jumped into the room through the window, only to see Shangguan Qinro sitting on the bed perfectly fine. Xian Shaotian was sitting leisurely on a stool, playing with an elegant white porcelain cup in his hand. Xian Shaotian shouted, "Come in." Four secret guards came in and surrounded Ning Shu. The boudoir, which was originally quite big, was now very crowded. They were waiting for her. Ning Shu held her sword tightly and asked Shangguan Qinro, who was sitting on the bed, "Miss Shangguan, what's the meaning of this?" Shangguan Qinro's face was very beautiful under the light. The more you look at a beauty under the light, the more beautiful she became. Her skin was like cream, with a hint of naivety and charm from just waking up. Ning Shu naturally did not care about Shangguan Qinro's beauty. She was thinking about how to break out of the encirclement. Furthermore, these people were all masked, a very thick kind of cloth, clearly to prevent her from poisoning them like last time. "You're Xian Hongyu's shadow guard. Recently, you've been sending him news about me. Otherwise, why would Xian Hongyu know every time I go out? Leave, I can't afford to have a shadow guard like you." Shangguan Qinro said angrily. "You're loyal to Xian Hongyu, I don't need you to protect me." Shangguan Qinro was very annoyed that Xian Hongyu would follow her wherever she went. Shangguan Qinro was very annoyed by Xian Hongyu's entanglement. Ever since Xian Hongyu made a move on her and strangled her, Shangguan Qingrou had completely excluded Xian Hongyu from her heart. Looking at a noble and peerless man who actually made a move on a woman, this kind of scum cannot be kept. Chapter 482. After Shangguan Qingrou came to the ancient era, she had seen many handsome men. She had been mesmerized by Xian Hongyu's beauty at first, but the longer she stayed in the ancient era, the more handsome men she saw. Her shock and admiration for Xian Hongyu gradually disappeared. On the other hand, Xian Hongyu's feelings for Shangguan Qingrou were very deep, to the point that it had become an obsession. One was eager to control, while the other was eager to get rid of him. What a tragedy! 11. You are Xian Hongyu's shadow guard. Even if you follow me now, your heart is still loyal to your original master. You don't have to follow me anymore, you can leave. Shangguan Qingrou did not want to see anything related to Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu frowned and said, Master told me to protect you. This is my duty. Ning Shu glanced at the shadow guards who were eyeing her covetously. He was afraid that he would not be able to walk out of this room safely today. Xian Xiaoyan placed the cup in his hand on the table and said lightly, You're here to monitor this girl and protect her. Third brother really put in a lot of effort. Ning Shu understood now. Xian Xiaotian was annoyed at him for being a stalker. Also, he kept reporting to Xian Hongyu, so the two of them did not have the chance to go out alone. Their date was ruined. My responsibility is to protect Miss Shangguan, not to spy on her. Ning Shu said calmly, without blushing or skipping a beat. Shangguan Qingrou looked at Ning Shu speechlessly. Then why does Xian Hongyu follow me every time I go out? If you didn't tell Xian Hongyu, how would he know? Ning Shu was speechless when he heard Shangguan Qingrou mention Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu was still a prince. Calling him by his full name was very disrespectful. I was the one who told Master. Master said that Miss Shangguan has to tell him every time she goes out. Master was worried that Miss Shangguan would be in danger. Master was just concerned about Mississippi. Ning Shu shamelessly twisted the truth. Furthermore, Xian Hongyu did this out of concern, although the majority of it was to control Shangguan Qingrou. Shangguan Qingrou's hair stood on end. If this isn't surveillance, then what is? How could Xian Hongyu do that? Shangguan Qingrou's expression was extremely ugly, her brows filled with disgust. Leave, I don't need your protection. Xian Xiaotian stood up and said indifferently, We can't just leave like this. Ning Shu pursed his lips and held his sword tightly. He placed his hand on the bag at his waist and looked at Xian Xiaotian. We can't let her go like this. She's third brother's Death Knight's secret guard. Xian Xiaotian looked at Ning Shu with eyes filled with killing intent. Shangguan Qingrou asked in confusion, What's wrong with Death Knights and Shadow Guards? This kind of person only has his master in his heart. He will do anything for his master's orders. People who aren't afraid of death can't be kept alive. Just kill him, Xian Xiaotian said coldly. She is too familiar with the minister's mansion. If she wants to harm you, it will be very easy. Xian Xiao, Shangguan Qingrou said, What's more, who knows how many innocent people's hands are stained with the blood of these people? Ning Shu stared blankly at him, speechless. Fuck, you make it sound like you don't have Death Knights and Shadow Guards. Death Knights are trained by people like you. Even if they kill some innocent people, they should be blamed on you. With a sharp weapon in hand, the one who kills is the person, not the blade. Shangguan Qingrou heard Xian Xiaoyan's words and looked at Ning Shu. She asked uncertainly, Are we really going to kill her? Xian Xiaoyan shook his head. It's too dangerous to keep her by our side. All right, leave this person to me. Shangguan Qingrou hesitated for a moment, then nodded, All right. Ning Shu, damn, he's going to decide her life and death so carelessly? Ning Shu knew that Xian Xiaotian wanted to get rid of her and get important information about the third prince, Xian Hongyu, from her mouth. The battle for the throne was already surging in secret, and the battle between Xian Hongyu and Xian Xiaotian would become even more intense because of Shangguan Qingrou, the supreme power and the woman he loved the most. The winner would have everything, and the loser would lose everything, including his life. No matter who ascended the throne, they would kill the other without hesitation. "Tie her up," Xian Xiaotian said to the 4 shadow guards. Ning Shu immediately said, "Wait, I have something to say." The 4 shadow guards stopped and looked at Xian Xiaoan. Xian Xiaodan looked at Ning Shu coldly. "What do you want to say?" Ning Shu circulated his qi in his dantian, his body tensed up and ready to go. He said to Shangguan Qingrou, "I know I can't escape this time, but I want to say a few words to you." "What do you want to say?" Shangguan Qingrou looked at Ning Shu, her face filled with pity for a person about to die. Ning Shu circulated his qi and rushed in front of Shangguan Qingrou, his hand reaching out like lightning and grabbing Shangguan Qingrou's neck. Xian Xiaoyan's face immediately turned ashen. His low voice was filled with boundless rage, completely different from his usual roguish and unrestrained manner. "Let her go, or else this highness will make you beg for death." Ning Shu grinned, one hand grabbing Shangguan Qingrou's arm and turning her arm behind her back, making her unable to move. "You lied to me," Shangguan Qingrou struggled, but with her hands behind her back, she couldn't move. "You still want to kill me?" Ning Shu curled his lips and said to Xian Xiaoyan, "Let me go." "Impossible." Xian Xiaoyan's face turned ugly. To be threatened by an ant, what a joke. Xian Xiaotian no longer had the mood to interrogate this shadow guard. He would just capture him and execute him. Ning Shu tightened his grip on Shangguan Qingrou's neck. Shangguan Qingrou immediately gasped in pain, tears flowing down her face. She hated Xian Hongyu to death. First her neck was grabbed by Xian Hongyu, now her neck was being grabbed by Xian Hongyu's shadow guard. Feeling the cold and murderous aura of the body behind her, Shangguan Qingrou was a little frightened by Ning Shu. Thinking about how Xian Xiaotian had said that death warriors and shadow guards were people who killed people like flies, she was very afraid. The 2 groups of people were in a deadlock. The room was quiet. Ning Shu saw that Xian Xiaotian wouldn't let him go, so he placed his sword on Shangguan Qingrou's neck. "Let me go, or I'll kill her." Xian Xiaotian looked at Ning Shu, then looked at the sword on Shangguan Qingrou's neck, his expression indifferent and calm. Ning Shu pressed down on the sword, the sharp blade sinking into Shangguan Qingrou's delicate skin, fresh blood flowing down the blade. Shangguan Qingrou immediately sucked in a breath of air from the pain, her tears falling. Xian Xiaotian's expression immediately changed. He took a deep breath and said to Ning Shu fiercely, "This prince will let you go, let her go." Ning Shu wasn't stupid. If he let go of Shangguan Qingrou, the 4 death warriors would surround her, the kind that would kill. Ning Shu didn't think that after hurting Shangguan Qingrou, Xian Xiaotian would still want to capture him alive. She challenged Xian Xiaoyan's authority. He could only kill her. Chapter 483. Ning Shu dragged Shangguan Qingrou out of the room. He wanted to let go of her and run, but he saw Xian Xiaoyan's dark face, his face filled with killing intent. Xian Xiaoyan's eyes were cold and indifferent. It was obvious that he wanted to kill him today. In this situation, Ning Shu could not let go of Shangguan Qingrou. He gathered his qi and carried Shangguan Qingrou, stepping on the wall and flying away. However, Ning Shu felt that Shangguan Qingrou was a bit heavy. "Chase." Xian Xiaoyan's face was cold as he led Ning Shu to chase. "Let go of me." Shangguan Qingrou kept struggling. She felt the pressure behind her getting closer and closer. The aura of death was getting closer and closer, causing Ning Shu's hair to stand on end. On top of that, Shangguan Qingrou kept making a fuss, which made Ning Shu very impatient. She directly chopped her neck with her hand, knocking Shangguan Qingrou unconscious. Then, she carried Shangguan Qingrou and ran towards the 3rd prince's estate. Feeling the distance behind him getting closer and closer, Ning Shu gathered his qi in his dantian and increased his speed. He was still too weak. He was really too weak. Xian Xiaotian wanted to kill him. He did not want Xian Hongyu's men to be around Shangguan Qingrou. Xian Xiaotian already treated Shangguan Qingrou as his woman, a woman that no one else could touch. Xian Hongyu could send Shangguan Qingrou a shadow guard. This meant that the 2 of them were not ordinary people. Killing this shadow guard would completely worsen Shangguan Qingrou's relationship with Xian Hongyu. Those who were born into the royal family did everything with a purpose. Ning Shu felt his dantian was about to be torn apart. It was not easy to get rid of the 4 shadow guards and Xian Xiaotian, who was not weak. Ning Shu wanted to put Shangguan Qingrou down and run, but even if she did, the people behind her wouldn't let her go. She might as well keep Shangguan Qingrou in her hands, as that would be a life-saving talisman. Seeing that they were about to reach the 3rd prince's estate, Ning Shu put his finger to his mouth and blew a loud whistle. The sound was sharp and hurried. This was the method used by the shadow guards in the base to express themselves when it was inconvenient for them to communicate. Suddenly, a few black shadows darted out of the 3rd prince's manor. Ning Shu had arrived. Ning Shu directly said to them, "You guys hold them off for me. I'm going to find Master." Seeing these people, Ning Shu let out a sigh of relief. He carried Shangguan Qingrou into the prince's mansion and went to Xian Hongyu's study room. He saw that the light in his study room was still on. Ning Shu knew that Xian Hongyu was waiting for him to deliver the book today, and wanted to know what Shangguan Qingrou had done today. But today, she had brought everyone with her. Ning Shu knocked on the door. Xian Hongyu coldly said, "Come in." Ning Shu pushed the door open and entered. He saw that the floor was covered in Xian paper. On each paper was the same person, Shangguan Qingrou. Shangguan Qingrou's every move, every frown, every smile. Right now, Xian Hongyu was still holding a brush in his hand. When Ning Shu entered, he did not even raise his head. He coldly said, "It's late today." Facing such a Xian Hongyu, Ning Shu felt a chill at the back of his head. After placing Shangguan Qingrou on a chair, Xian Hongyu raised his head and glanced at Ning Shu. His gaze landed on the unconscious person on the chair. He was stunned for a moment, then threw down his brush and walked over. Especially when he saw the wound on Shangguan Qinrou's neck. He looked at Ning Shu with a particularly sharp gaze. Ning Shu hurriedly said, "Master, this subordinate can explain." Ning Shu emphasized that Xian Xiaotian went to Shangguan Qinrou's room in the middle of the night. It looked like he wanted to do something bad. She wanted to save her, but found out that the 2 of them were in cahoots. They wanted to capture her and interrogate her about Master. Then she brought Shangguan Qingrou back. She did not know how the wound on Shangguan Qingrou's neck came about. Xian Hongyu coldly looked at Ning Shu, then extended his white jade-like hand. "Don't try to play tricks in front of this prince." Xian Hongyu slapped Ning Shu, clearly punishing Ning Shu for acting on her own. Ning Shu quickly bent down, dodging Xian Hongyu's palm. She pulled open Shangguan Qingrou's collar, pretending to have dodged Xian Hongyu's palm by accident. She said to Xian Hongyu, "Master, Miss Shangguan's wound needs to be treated." Xian Hongyu slightly narrowed his eyes at Ning Shu, then bent down to carry Shangguan Qingrou into the side room. Only then did Ning Shu let out a silent breath. She did not want to be hit by Xian Hongyu. Fuck, in that situation she could have been killed. Xian Hongyu did not say anything to comfort her. He even blamed her for hurting Shangguan Qingrou. Alright, Shangguan Qingrou was many times more important than her. The shadow guard felt bitter. She really did not know what kind of mentality the original owner had to sacrifice her soul to save her master. With such a master, it was better to get rid of him as soon as possible. 11 actually still wanted to save him. Ning Shu could not understand 11's loyalty to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu was lucky to have such a death guard, to follow him and not abandon him. However, Xian Hongyu's attitude towards her was that she was just a tool. He did not even treat her as a person. His attitude towards the original owner was probably the same. Ning Shu glanced at the countless portraits on the ground. These were all Shangguan Qingrou in Xian Hongyu's heart. Rather than saying that Xian Hongyu loved Shangguan Qingrou deeply, it was more of an obsession. After leaving the study, Ning Shu closed the door. After running for her life for a while, her whole body was sore and weak. Moreover, her muscles were still in pain from the strain. She did not know how Xian Xiaotian was doing. Ning Shu stood on the wall of the prince's residence, waiting for the shadow guards to return. When the shadow guards returned, Ning Shu smelled the scent of blood on them. She hurriedly asked, "How is it?" "They left first. These people are not weak. Should we inform the master?" One of the shadow guards said. His face was covered, and in addition to the darkness, it was hard to see what he looked like. Ning Shu shook her head. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Xian Hongyu was not in the mood to listen to these things. In the future, Xian Hongyu would probably not ask her to protect Shangguan Qingrou anymore. It was already like this. If Xian Hongyu still asked her to protect Shangguan Qingrou, it was no different from sending her to her death. Ning Shu did not care about this anymore. She stepped on a tree trunk and flew up to a branch, preparing to start cultivating. She was now like a monkey, climbing trees whenever she saw one. She had never slept on a bed before. The death guard job was dangerous and the benefits were low. How could such an inhumane job exist? Or was it because her strength was too weak? She could only run every time. Ning Shu wanted to kill everyone and be invincible on the forbidden Violet Peak. There was no one she could rely on here. Xian Hongyu, that sickly master, was not worth mentioning. Who knew if he did not die on a mission, but died in her hands? After taking a deep breath, Ning Shu cleared her mind and began cultivating. Xian Hongyu, you pervert, let go of me. Ning Shu, who was still cultivating, was interrupted by a scream. Chapter 484. Ning Shu's cultivation was interrupted. Pushing aside the leaves, he saw that the light in Xian Hongyu's study room was still on. Inside, Shangguan Qinrou's screams could be heard. Ning Shu suspected that Xian Hongyu did something to Shangguan Qinrou. Jumping down from the tree, Ning Shu went to the window and looked inside. He saw that Shangguan Qinrou was tied to a four-poster bed, her four limbs tied to the bed. Shangguan Qinrou was sprawled on the bed, unable to move. Xian Hongyu was sitting on a stool not too far away, looking at Shangguan Qinrou like that. You're awake? Xian Hongyu poured a cup of water and walked to the bed, telling Shangguan Qinrou, you must be thirsty, do you want some water? Shangguan Qinrou was struggling with the ropes. Hearing Xian Hongyu's words, she angrily shouted, I don't want to drink water, Xian Hongyu, let go of me, I'm not feeling well. Ning Shu watched from outside, feeling that Xian Hongyu was really looking for trouble. Shangguan Qinrou is such a weak woman, even if she's a bit energetic, with Xian Hongyu's skills, he could easily push her down with one hand, how could she run away? Seeing that, Shangguan Qinrou's face went pale, her expression fearful, looking at Xian Hongyu like he was crazy. Xian Hongyu, can you let go of me first? Shangguan Qinrou begged Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu shook his head, put the cup down, got on the bed and hugged Shangguan Qinrou, causing her to tremble in fear. Xian Hongyu stroked Shangguan Qinrou's hair, comforting her, don't be afraid. Shangguan Qinrou trembled even more. Xian Hongyu sighed, his voice gentle, Qinrou, I like you, so why don't you like me? Shangguan Qinrou was speechless, not knowing what to say. Xian Hongyu laid on his side next to Shangguan Qinrou, propping his head up with one hand as he looked at Shangguan Qinrou. His expression was lazy, his hair was draped over his shoulders, truly a peerless beauty. Xian Hongyu suddenly thought of something, his face showed a joyful smile, his eyes like a painting, peerless beauty. Qinrou, let's become one, Ning Shu. Then, should she retreat? Shangguan Qinrou's eyes widened in fear as she shouted, no, I don't want it. You will like it, Xian Hongyu said and got out of bed. Ning Shu, how filthy. After squatting for a long time, his legs were numb and he couldn't get up. Ning Shu hammered his legs and then looked at the situation in the room. Xian Hongyu took out a dagger. The dagger was as bright as snow. Under the candlelight, it emitted a cold light. Shangguan Qinrou's lips trembled. You, what are you doing? When he saw Xian Hongyu holding a dagger, he was puzzled. Shouldn't they be fused? Why are you holding a dagger? Xian Hongyu held a dagger in his hand, but spoke gently to Shangguan Qinrou like a noble young master. Don't be afraid. Let's not talk about Shangguan Qinrou's feelings. Even Ning Shu felt his hair stand on end. This kind of man was really unbearable. Xian Hongyu first bent down and buried his head in Shangguan Qinrou's neck, intertwining their necks. Shangguan Qinrou screamed, her voice was filled with pain, her face was twisted from the pain. Ning Shu squinted his eyes, the place where Xian Hongyu kissed was where Shangguan Qinrou was hurt. After a while, Xian Hongyu finally looked up. His lips were covered in blood. Together with his peerless face, he looked extremely seductive. He even licked the blood off his lips. Xian Hongyu spoke softly to Shangguan Qingrou, who was scared out of her wits and had a blank expression. Right now, I have your blood in my body. Then you should drink my blood now, that way we can fuse as one. Xian Hongyu said as he cut his wrist without hesitation. Beads of blood flowed out of the wound. Shangguan Qingrou looked at Gu Xian Hongyu in disbelief. You? What are you trying to do? Shangguan Qingrou looked like she wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Let's fuse as one, that way no one can separate us. Xian Hongyu held Shangguan Qingrou's chin and put his wrist in front of her, letting the blood drip into Shangguan Qingrou's mouth. Shangguan Qingrou's expression was pained and twisted. She tilted her head to prevent the blood from dripping into her mouth. Blood covered her face. Be good, be good. Xian Hongyu turned Shangguan Qingrou's head and held her chin. He lifted his wrist and let the blood drip into Shangguan Qingrou's mouth. The thick smell of blood made Shangguan Qingrou vomit. She made a retching sound. Shangguan Qingrou spat out the blood. Xian Hongyu dripped the blood into her mouth again. Swallow it. After a while, Xian Hongyu finally stopped. He used a cloth to bandage his wound and said to the lifeless Shangguan Qingrou, "From now on, we are one." Shangguan Qingrou made a gurgling sound. She was stunned, clearly frightened by Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu got on the bed and hugged Shangguan Qingrou. He said to Shangguan Qingrou, whose face was covered in blood, "I'm very happy." Ning Shu wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. His legs were no longer numb, so he climbed up the tree in one breath. A sickly man is enough for you. It's scary to be uncultured. So what if you drink blood? After digesting it, you'll poop it out. Why do you have to make it so bloody? Shangguan Qingrou was scared to the point of losing her mind. Feeding each other blood means fusing as one? Does Ning Shu think it's going to be negative contact? Before dawn, Xian Xiaotian came to the third prince's residence. He was probably here to ask for Shangguan Qingrou. Xian Xiaotian's face was so dark that it couldn't be looked at. He fanned himself with the fan in his hand, clearly anxious. Shangguan Qingrou was here the whole night. Especially since Xian Hongyu liked Shangguan Qingrou, Xian Xiaotian tried his best not to imagine what happened last night. When Xian Hongyu came out, he was very pleased with himself. Xian Xiaotian saw Xian Hongyu like this, and his face was so dark that it couldn't be looked at. He clenched his fists so hard that creaking sounds could be heard. Third brother, I'm here to bring Shangguan Qingrou back. It's going to be daybreak soon. If the minister's residence finds out that she's not here, it'll be bad for her reputation. Xian Xiaoan suppressed his anger and said to Xian Hongyu in a hoarse voice, if a woman didn't return for a night, it would be too damaging to her reputation. Xian Xiaotian still wanted to have a future with Shangguan Qingrou. He couldn't let Shangguan Qingrou carry the reputation of being unfaithful. Compared to Xian Xiaotian, who was so anxious that he was about to jump up, Xian Hongyu had a calm expression. Third brother, where is Shangguan Qingrou? I'm going to bring her back. Xian Xiaotian said again. You don't have to worry about that. I'll send her back. Xian Hongyu said lightly. I want to see Shangguan Qingrou. Xian Xiaotian gripped his fan tightly. His brows were filled with hostility and anger. Xian Hongyu grunted. You'll leave after seeing her, right? Xian Xiaotian gritted his teeth. He wanted to see what happened to Shangguan Qingrou. Chapter 485. Xian Xiaotian's current emotions were indescribably complicated. Nervousness, impatience, anger, worry for Shangguan Qingrou, and anger. Xian Xiaonan looked at Xian Hongyu's solemn expression and felt uneasy. He felt like something had happened between the two of them. Shangguan Qingrou was helped out by a maid. She had already changed into clean clothes, and there were no more bloodstains on her face. However, her face was completely pale, and her expression was dazed, as if her soul had left her body. Seeing Shangguan Qingrou like this made Xian Xiaotian's heart skip a beat, and his expression became even uglier. Xian Hongyu must have done something to her. Seeing Xian Xiaotian, Shangguan Qinrou's tears fell. She ran to Xian Xiaoyan's side and said with a trembling voice, "Xian Xiaoyan, take me away, I want to go home." Shangguan Qingrou didn't even dare to look at Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu's expression became indifferent, and said to Shangguan Qingrou, "Come here. I don't want to go with a pervert like you." Whenever Shangguan Qingrou thought of what happened last night, she would feel extreme disgust towards Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu looked at Shangguan Qingrou with a cold expression. Shangguan Qingrou felt a chill down her spine, and pulled Xian Xiaoyan's sleeve. "Xian Xiaotian, I want to go home." "All right." Xian Xiaotian could only endure the anxiety in his heart and take Shangguan Qingrou away. "I said I'll take her back," Xian Hongyu coldly said, looking at Shangguan Qingrou's eyes with sadness and disappointment. Xian Hongyu was happy before, thinking that he and Shangguan Qingrou had a new beginning, but why was Shangguan Qingrou still like this? "Third brother, she told me to take her back, so let me. Also, don't send any shadow guards to Qingrou's side, she doesn't like it." Xian Xiaotian pushed Shangguan Qingrou behind him and confronted Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu pursed his lips, his expression cold. "Shangguan Qingrou is one of mine." Xian Xiaoyan's body staggered, and Shangguan Qingrou immediately said, "I'm not one of yours, you're speaking nonsense." Xian Xiaotian coldly replied, "Third brother, if you care about Qingrou at all, then let me take her away right now. It's almost dawn, do you want her to carry the reputation of losing her virginity after staying out all night?" Before Xian Hongyu could say anything, Xian Xiaotian pulled Shangguan Qingrou away. Xian Hongyu just stood there, staring at Shangguan Qingrou's back, his face expressionless. Ning Shu, who was squatting on the tree, curled her lips. Although Xian Hongyu was her master, Ning Shu still wanted to say in her heart, "You deserve it." Xian Hongyu was a perfect example of what it meant to be an expert at courting death. This was the first time Ning Shu had seen a supporting male lead who was so good at courting death. Shouldn't a supporting male lead have the symbol of a warm man as a spare tire on his head? But this bastard's possessiveness had already given up on treatment. 11. Xian Hongyu, who had been standing still for a long time, suddenly called out to Ning Shu. Ning Shu immediately jumped down from the tree, walked in front of Xian Hongyu, and shouted, "Master!" Xian Hongyu's face was pale. Ning Shu asked, 11, why is she like this? Ning Shu's face was wooden, and said seriously, "This subordinate does not know." Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu, then turned around to enter the house. Seeing that Ning Shu was still standing outside, he coldly said, "Get in here." See, he was angry at her. Ning Shu expressionlessly rolled into the house, half kneeling on the ground, and asked, "Master, what are your orders?" Ning Shu's heart was very uneasy. "Please don't let me protect Shangguan Qingrou anymore. Xian Xiaonan wants to kill me every time he sees me. Don't send me to the knife's edge, master." Xian Hongyu asked Ning Shu, "You are also a woman. Do you know why Shangguan Qingrou treats me like this? I like her, so why is she so afraid of me?" Ning Shu chuckled in his heart. "If it were me, I would be afraid too. This time I fed her blood, but next time, I might have to feed her shit. If you don't even dare to eat the shit of the person you love, how can you talk about loving me?" Ning Shu said in all seriousness, "I don't know about this." "What do you like?" Xian Hongyu suddenly asked Ning Shu. "What do I like?" Ning Shu was stunned for a moment. "I like points the most." "This subordinate does not like anything," Ning Shu said. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu, then remembered that this woman in front of him was not a normal person. Strictly speaking, she was not even a woman. He waved his hand, "Leave." Ning Shu was speechless. "Call her in, say a few words, and tell her to scram. Call her in, send her away, no complaints." Ning Shu turned to leave, but Xian Hongyu suddenly said, "Right, there is one more thing." Ning Shu asked, "Master, what else do you need this subordinate to do?" "Don't let me protect Shangguan Qingrou. Continue to keep an eye on the minister's estate," Xian Hongyu said calmly. "Fuck," Ning Shu almost spat out blood. "I still have to go? I don't want to go." Ning Shu felt uncomfortable, but on the surface he asked with a serious face, "This subordinate feels that we cannot enter the minister's estate. His Highness the Fifth Prince will definitely send people to guard the estate. Just keep an eye on the surroundings of the minister's estate. If the Fifth Prince and Shangguan Qingrou have anything to do, tell this prince. Xian Hongyu did not insist on sending Ning Shu to his death. Ning Shu accepted this task with a serious and honored expression. However, this task was relatively simple. It was to record Shangguan Qingrou's movements. He did not need to stay on the tree outside Shangguan Qingrou's room to feed the mosquitoes. Probably scared by Xian Hongyu, Shangguan Qingrou did not leave the estate for a long time. During this time, Xian Shaodan often went to the minister's estate. When he came out, it was the Minister of Rites who personally sent him off. Ning Shu stopped the minister's servant who went out to do some work. He gave him some silver and asked, "Did something good happen at the minister's estate?" The servant shook the silver in his hand and said with a proud smile, "His Highness the Fifth Prince plans to propose marriage to our Mississippi. In a few days, His Highness the Emperor will grant the marriage." Ning Shu immediately went back and told Xian Hongyu about this. When Xian Hongyu heard, he flipped over the gold-rimmed Phoebe Jinan wood table with a confused expression. Ning Shu suddenly did not know what to say to Xian Hongyu. Did Xian Hongyu think that after feeding each other blood, they would become one? After performing the sacred blood-feeding ceremony, she would be his? Seeing Xian Hongyu's confused expression, Ning Shu asked, "Master, are you all right? If you're fine, you'll eat some plums." Xian Hongyu's expression was ugly. His eyes were red. He took down the portrait of Shangguan Qingrou hanging on the wall and tore it to pieces. He still felt that it was not enough, so he took out the previous portrait and tore it to pieces. Ning Shu just watched silently. What's the use of tearing paper? After venting, Xian Hongyu's expression was cold. He seemed to have calmed down, but his face twitched occasionally. It was obvious that his heart was still raging. "Go back and keep watching the minister's estate," Xian Hongyu said with his back facing Ning Shu. Ning Shu said yes and turned to leave. He did not intend to comfort Xian Hongyu. Chapter 486. The plot progressed smoothly, and Xian Shaotian and Shangguan Qingrou were about to get married. The playful Shangguan Qingrou had not left the residence for a long time. Even Xian Shaotian rarely went to the minister's residence. In the past, Xian Shaotian would frequently go to the minister's residence, probably because he was busy with the wedding. Ning Shu asked the servant girl who went out to work, and she said that Shangguan Qingrou was embroidering a dowry. Embroidering a dowry? Ning Shu did not think that Shangguan Qingrou could embroider a dowry. Not long after, the imperial edict for the marriage was passed down. Xian Shaotian and Shangguan Qingrou's marriage was set in stone. Even if Xian Hongyu tried to stop it, he could not stop the two from getting married. The wedding date was urgent, probably to guard against Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu went to see Shangguan Qingrou, but he was rejected. Shangguan Qingrou wanted to cut off all contact with Xian Hongyu, especially now that she was about to get married. She did not want to see him. Shangguan Qingrou was in such a hurry to get married mostly because of Xian Hongyu, and Xian Shaotian treated her well. But Xian Hongyu did not give up, and even sent death soldiers to the minister's residence to capture him. But Xian Shaotian made sure that the entire minister's residence was well guarded, just to prevent Xian Hongyu from causing any more trouble. Xian Hongyu's face was cold all day, and the entire third prince's residence was in a gloomy atmosphere. Ning Shu did not care about her master's pain or grievance, and was training hard. The battle between the two sides was getting more and more intense. According to what Ning Shu knew, many of Xian Hongyu's death soldiers had died, because of all kinds of missions, or because they were caught and bit their poison sacs to commit suicide, or because of their master's plan, they were sent to their deaths. This kind of battle was bloody and intertwined in private. This kind of killing, every mission was a narrow escape. It made Ning Shu's hair stand on end. She could only calm down and cultivate. In comparison, her mission was much simpler, and she was much luckier. It was Shangguan Qingrou. She was monitoring the movements of the minister's manner from the surroundings. If Shangguan Qingrou left the residence, Ning Shu had to inform Xian Hongyu immediately. She was now a stalker and a peeping Tom. It was tiring to meet an abnormal master. There are so many hot women in the world. Why is Xian Hongyu so fixated on Shangguan Qingrou? Xian Hongyu's possessiveness made him want Shangguan Qingrou no matter what. Fuck, I want you. You must be mine. Your corpse is mine. Your hair is mine. Your nails are mine. If he couldn't get it, he would be in agony. He would be in so much pain that he would toss and turn in bed. On the day of the wedding, there was a lot of noise and gongs. The daughter of the minister's manor married the fifth prince and became his wife. It was the most lively event in the capital. Xian Shaotian treated Shangguan Qingrou very well and gave her enough face. The dowry was arranged from the prince's residence to the minister's residence. It looked very solid, and the weight of the carrying pole was bent and bent. It was obvious that the weight of the things inside was not small. Xian Hongyu was prepared to rob the bridal sedan and make the bride disappear on the day of the wedding. However, Xian Shaotian managed to persuade the emperor to give him a group of guards to ensure that the wedding would go smoothly. Xian Hongyu's face darkened as he ordered the death soldiers to retreat. These guards were Imperial Father's men. Letting the death soldiers go was the same as asking for a knife. It would also make Imperial Father suspicious of him. Xian Hongyu stared at Xian Shaotian, who was riding on a horse and wearing a wedding dress. He wished that Xian Shaotian would fall off the horse and die. Ning Shu stood behind Xian Hongyu and curled his lips. Why didn't you just marry Shangguan Qingrou earlier? Why did you have to be so stubborn that Shangguan Qingrou belongs to you? You even fed her blood. Is she yours? Then Shangguan Qingrou married someone else with a pure body. Ning Shu just wanted to facepalm. Xian Hongyu naturally had to attend Xian Shaotian's wedding. Even if the two of them were like fire and water in private, they still had to act like brothers in front of the emperor. After leaving the tea house, Xian Hongyu went to the fifth prince's residence. The fifth prince's residence was very lively, but the security was very tight. It was to prevent anything from happening today, but more importantly, to guard against Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu stood in the corner and watched the newlyweds get married. He couldn't suppress the dark aura around his body anymore. His eyes and face were filled with, "As long as I'm with you, don't even think about living happily ever after." He also said, "If I kill someone, let's see how you can hold his hand and grow old together." Hearing the master of ceremonies call for the bridal chamber, Xian Hongyu pursed his lips and turned to leave. Ning Shu was waiting for Xian Hongyu outside the residence. When he saw Xian Hongyu's expression that looked like he was about to destroy the world, he immediately took 2 steps back. "Don't get close to this bastard. If he attacks me, I won't be able to dodge and will become cannon fodder." Xian Hongyu returned to the residence and locked himself in his room. No one knew what he was doing. Ning Shu grinned and went to do something. It shouldn't be long before Xian Shaotian ascends to the throne. Ning Shu had to prepare in advance to save Xian Hongyu. Squatting on a tree branch, feeding mosquitoes, and writing a diary every day, he endured it all. But in the end, Xian Hongyu died, and Ning Shu vomited to death. As for the heartbroken Xian Hongyu, who cares? He'll be alive and kicking and will think of ways to kill Xian Shaotian and Shangguan Qingrou. Xian Hongyu was in pain, and Xian Shaotian and Shangguan Qingrou's days after marriage were inseparable. They were so loving that all the noble ladies in the capital were envious. Every time Xian Hongyu heard such news, his face was cold, and no one could see his expression. Ning Shu felt that if this bastard didn't explode in silence, he would become perverted in silence. Xian Hongyu didn't give up on Shangguan Qingrou. Instead, he became more persistent and stared at someone else's wife every day. During this period of time, something big happened. The crown prince coincidentally saw his sister-in-law, and his heart itched. Shangguan Qingrou had a lively personality and was beautiful. Now that she was married, she also had the charm of a young married woman. She was simply the best quality. He thought of ways to get Shangguan Qingrou. Just as he was about to do it, Shangguan Qingrou was saved by Xian Shaotian. Shangguan Qingrou was scared to death. Shangguan Qingrou was also suffering. She always had this kind of wolf. She couldn't help it. Her charm was too great. When Xian Hongyu heard about this, he tacitly agreed to work with Xian Shaotian to kill the crown prince. Following this, the entire capital was in turmoil. Some of the crown prince's evil deeds were exposed. However, they were not big or small. Although it wasn't good for the crown prince's reputation, it couldn't shake his position. But the crown prince was angered to death. The crown prince knew that Xian Shaotian was taking revenge on him, so he chose to go against Xian Shaotian. In the crown prince's heart, this world will be his in the future. What's wrong with me sleeping with your woman? You better bear with it. You're going against the heavens. The two sides fought fiercely. The crown prince was the heir to the throne and had been in the court for many years. His strength couldn't be underestimated. Xian Shaotian had Xian Hongyu's help, so they were evenly matched. Chapter 487. Shangguan Qingrou became the fuse that ignited the struggle for the throne. In any case, the two sides were fighting fiercely, and the situation in the capital was unclear. As far as Ningxu knew, Xian Hongyu sent out a wave of death soldiers, but they were all wiped out. Not even two of them returned alive. Ningxu was shocked, but he also knew that he did not have much time and could only work hard to improve his strength. But one day, when the emperor was in court, he suddenly spat out blood and fell from his throne. The imperial physician examined him and said that he had been poisoned, and that he would not live for more than half a year. The emperor was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of black blood and fainted. Since the emperor was poisoned, the crown prince naturally became the regent, and the emperor could only wait for death. But not long after, it was revealed that the crown prince was the one who poisoned the emperor. He bribed the emperor's eunuch, and all kinds of evidence. Even the emperor's eunuch admitted that it was the crown prince who ordered him to do it. The reason was that the crown prince was accused of poisoning the emperor in order to protect his position. After the emperor died, the crown prince would naturally become the emperor. All kinds of evidence made it difficult for the crown prince to defend himself. He knelt by the emperor's bedside, crying that his son was wronged. The emperor was so angry that he spat out blood. Ever since he was poisoned, the emperor would spit out blood every day, and it was all black and smelly blood. This feeling of waiting for death was not good. Now that the emperor was about to die, and seeing that his own son did not kill the crown prince, he was demoted to a commoner. Even if the emperor wanted to drag someone down with him, he still had to consider his reputation in 100 years. Father and son killing each other was a scandal. As for the crown prince who was demoted to a commoner, he was already a loser, and no one paid attention to him anymore. After the crown prince was removed from his position, Xian Hongyu and Xian Shaotian immediately turned their spearheads, and the two who were previously working together immediately started fighting. Things happened very quickly, and Ningxu saw too much for his eyes to take in. In the end, things had developed to this point. The emperor had at most half a year to live. Both Xian Hongyu and Xian Shaoyan had to enter the palace to serve the emperor and fulfill their filial piety. Of course, they were also fighting for the throne. Now, there were only 2 adult princes, and the others were still children who had no ability to compete. If nothing unexpected happened, one of them would become the emperor. Ningxu did not think that Xian Hongyu could become the emperor. The emperor was Xian Shaoyan, the male lead, and the empress was Shangguan Qingrou. A love story between the two of them would be a model for the royal family. Ningxu intensified his training, and his strength was even stronger than before. If he were to meet Xian Xiaoyan's 4 secret guards again, with the addition of his hidden weapons and poison, he would be invincible. Regardless of the raging waves outside, Ningxu silently practiced his martial arts. In any case, he already knew the outcome. It wasn't that Ningxu didn't want to help, but Xian Hongyu absolutely couldn't tolerate being ordered around by a tool. Anyway, the mission was to save Xian Hongyu, and Ningxu didn't care about anything else. However, saving Xian Hongyu required a lot of twists and turns. Xian Hongyu and Xian Shaotian stayed by the emperor's side day and night. They both lived in the imperial palace. The emperor said that he could live for half a year, but the poison took effect after a month. His skin turned purple, and the poison had already seriously corroded his internal organs. Even if the imperial physician of the imperial hospital did their best to treat him, they still couldn't save the emperor's life. A dying emperor naturally had to hand over the country to his son. Xian Hongyu and Xian Shaotian knelt in front of the emperor who was about to die. The emperor's mouth was overflowing with stinky black blood. In front of his trusted officials, he said with difficulty, "After I pass away, the fifth prince, Xian Shaoan, will inherit the throne. The third prince, Xian Hongyu, will be conferred the title of Ding Prince. After I pass away, the third prince will immediately leave the capital for his fief. This son thanks the emperor for his kindness." Xian Shaotian and Xian Hongyu kowtowed to express their gratitude. Xian Hongyu tightly pursed his lips. His expression was indifferent, and no one could tell what he was feeling. Xian Shaoan, on the other hand, was full of spirit. The emperor coughed. Black blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth, bringing with it a rotten stench. Xian Shaotian glanced at Xian Hongyu and followed the officials out. "Hongyu, come in front of me," the emperor said to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu shouted at the emperor, "Father, your personality is not suitable to be the emperor." The emperor said, "When you were young, you raised a puppy. You doted on this puppy a lot. But one day, this puppy ran in front of me and played with me. I teased it, but you killed it afterward." Xian Hongyu did not speak. The emperor coughed, and large mouthfuls of black blood gushed out. Xian Hongyu said, "Father, don't speak now." As he spoke, he used a handkerchief to wipe the black blood from the emperor's mouth and neck. "I originally thought that you were a bloodthirsty person, but I found that you are indifferent to other things. But when it comes to the things you care about, you are incomparably stubborn. Go to your fief, don't return to the capital." Xian Hongyu pursed his lips and did not speak. "You can leave," the emperor said to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu knelt down. "This son will take his leave." After Xian Hongyu left the bedroom, he saw Xian Shaotian and the ministers still waiting outside. Xian Shaotian walked forward and asked Xian Hongyu, "What did father say to you?" Xian Hongyu looked at Xian Shaotian and smiled for the first time. He looked so peerless that Xian Shaotian, who was opposite him, was stunned. Xian Hongyu said lightly, "Guess." Xian Shaotian narrowed his eyes. Before he could speak, he heard the eunuch's sorrowful voice. "The emperor has passed away." Ning Shu, who was cultivating in the third prince's residence, heard the funeral bell in the palace and knew that the emperor had passed away. The housekeeper immediately took down all the fancy things in the residence and hung a plain cloth. When Xian Hongyu returned, he brought with him a cold aura. Seeing him like this, Ning Shu knew that Xian Hongyu had no chance. After hearing the emperor's decree, Ning Shu's heart jumped with joy. If Xian Hongyu waited until after the emperor's funeral and went to his fief, then there would be no more after. Actually, the emperor did this to protect Xian Hongyu, hoping that Xian Hongyu would understand his father's painstaking efforts. Ning Shu originally wanted to ask Xian Hongyu if he would leave the capital after the state funeral, but when he saw Xian Hongyu's indifferent face and strange eyes, Ning Shu swallowed his words. He almost forgot that this brat was an expert at courting death. If he didn't cause some trouble, he wouldn't give up. It was truly a tragedy to have such a master. Why couldn't Xian Hongyu change his target? Why did he have to keep an eye on Shangguan Qingru? Although Ning Shu had a certain understanding of Xian Hongyu's courting death, he did not expect him to be so courting death. While Xian Shaotian was busy with the funeral and ascension, Xian Hongyu kidnapped the future empress, Shangguan Qingru. Ning Shu could only kneel and write the word respect for this action. Chapter 488. Her mission was to save a master who was constantly courting death. Let her master live a little longer and then continue courting death? She really wanted to shout at her master and ask him to stop for a moment. The old emperor did this to prevent brothers from killing each other. Xian Shaotian might not do anything to Xian Hongyu due to the emperor's orders, but Xian Hongyu would definitely kill him. Ning Shu sighed helplessly. She could not understand Xian Hongyu's obsession. He would display a frightening possessiveness over the things he cared about, just like how he professed his love for Shangguan Qingru. He would even cut his own wrist to feed her his blood. But he was indifferent to things he did not care about, even his own life. Did Xian Hongyu not know the consequences of his actions? He knew, but he still did it. The problem was that Ning Shu did not know where Xian Hongyu had taken her. A portion of the hidden guards in the prince's residence were also gone. They should have left with Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu was speechless. His wife had gone missing. Xian Xiaotian was almost instantly sure that Xian Hongyu was the culprit. He immediately sent people to search the third prince's residence. Now that Xian Xiaotian was the emperor, it was very convenient for him to search a prince's estate. Moreover, he personally led people to search the entire third prince's estate. However, he still couldn't find Xian Hongyu and Shangguanqing Rou. Ning Shu had already run away and hid before Xian Xiaotian came to the third prince's residence. If he was caught by Xian Hongyu, he would definitely be tortured, whipped with chili, stewed with tiger, burned with iron, and pierced with needles. Ning Shu did not think that he could endure such cruel torture. Xian Xiaotian, who did not find anything, left the third prince's residence with a cold face. He secretly sent many guards to search for Xian Hongyu, using the excuse of capturing a fugitive. A country's empress had gone missing. If such news were to spread, it would cause chaos. Xian Xiaotian could only suppress the news. While Xian Xiaotian was investigating Xian Hongyu, Ning Shu was also wondering where Xian Hongyu had run off to. She had angered Xian Xiaotian and caused him to bleed for 1,000 miles. Furthermore, it was such an act of cuckolding the emperor. Xian Xiaotian's actions caused the atmosphere in the capital to become very tense. Everyone felt that the new emperor was going to make an example out of them, and all of them were extremely obedient. Even the business of the brothel had slowed down a bit, and from time to time, there would be guards coming in to search. Ning Shu was previously hiding in a desolate house. Seeing Xian Xiaotian searching like this, he could only hide back in the third prince's residence. However, after searching for a few days, they still could not find Xian Hongyu. Too many things could happen in a few days. If Xian Hongyu wanted to do anything to Shangguanqing Rou, he would have done so long ago. If this matter was made public, then even if nothing happened between Shangguanqing Rou and Xian Hongyu, she would still have to bear the crime of losing her virginity. Furthermore, it would depend on whether Xian Xiaotian believed that nothing had happened between them. Xian Xiaotian was already anxious. He added more guards to conduct a large-scale search of the capital, but they still could not find Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu felt that Xian Hongyu was definitely not in the capital. Perhaps he had run off to a base deep in the mountains. Ning Shu wanted to go back to that base to take a look. He also wanted to see the child from before. He did not know how the child was doing. Ning Shu had disguised himself. He did not wear any clothes, but ordinary female clothes on the bed. The color was gray, and there was a poor quality silver hairpin in his hair. The original owner was originally ordinary, and after this disguise, he was easily forgotten. However, when Ning Shu reached the city gate, he found that the security was very tight. There were many guards standing guard, and all of them had portraits in their hands. As long as it was a woman, they would be stopped and compared to the portraits. If they looked similar, they would be detained. Ning Shu saw a portrait of him on the city wall. He was wanted? Ning Shu wiped his face. It was probably because Xian Xiaotian did not have a way to directly arrest Xian Hongyu. He could only capture him and use him to find Xian Hongyu. The problem was that he did not know where Xian Hongyu had run off to. Even if he caught her, he would not be able to find Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu felt that he had been tricked by Xian Hongyu. He let her attract the firepower in front, but he did not let her know where Xian Hongyu and the others were. Ning Shu turned and left. With this kind of search, he had no way of leaving the city. As long as these guards felt that he looked similar to the portrait, he would be arrested. They would rather kill the wrong person than let him go. Ning Shu did not think that he could escape like this. When he arrived at the third prince's residence, Ning Shu found that there were people loitering outside the residence. It was obvious that they wanted to catch him. Then he could not return to the third prince's residence. He could only hide in the desolate residence. He did not even dare to go to the inn. Ning Shu cursed Xian Hongyu's 18 generations of ancestors in his heart. Ning Shu hammered his chest. Even if he wanted to save Xian Hongyu, he would have to think of a way to take revenge in the future. If he did not teach Xian Hongyu a lesson, he would not be able to vent his anger. Ning Shu really did not understand why 11 would sacrifice her soul to save Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu did not treat her as a human at all. He did not even care about her life. Even so, she was willing to risk her life for Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu did not understand this fanatical loyalty. Every time he encountered an unsolvable problem, Ning Shu realized that he knew too little. If he knew how to disguise himself, he could easily leave the city. He still had to learn more in the future. If he learned how to disguise himself, he could exchange for disguise pills in the system store. However, if there was a day when he could not use the items exchanged in the system store, he still had to study hard. The more he learned, the better. These skills could make his missions easier and could even save his life sometimes. Ning Shu meditated in the cellar. When he was hungry, he did not go out to find food. He just ate fasting pills and then continued to cultivate. Occasionally, he would go out to ask for information to see if Xian Hongyu had been found. As long as the guards at the city gate did not withdraw, he knew that Xian Shaotian had not found Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu wiped his face. Xian Hongyu was driving his brother crazy. It had been a few days, almost 10 days. Xian Shaotian, who was supposed to ascend the throne, did not ascend. He delayed the ascension date because he wanted to do a full 21-day ritual for the late emperor. He wanted to let the monks chant Buddhist scriptures day and night so that his father could enter the Pure Land. Even when the ministers advised that the country could not be without a ruler and that Xian Shaotian should ascend the throne quickly, Xian Shaotian refused. He insisted on waiting 21 days until the late emperor was buried. No one could persuade him, so they could only let him be. Xian Shaoyan knelt in front of the late emperor's coffin every day. He also had to look for Xian Hongyu and Shangguan Qingru in private. Xian Xiaoyan's reputation as a filial son spread. Chapter 489. Filial son? When Ning Shu heard about Xian Xiaoyan's filial son, he almost laughed out loud. Putting a corpse out there for 20 days in the middle of summer, even ice couldn't stop the corpse from rotting. Speaking of which, the previous emperor was quite pitiful. He was caught up in the battle between his 3 sons, poisoned, and died. After he died, his sons didn't even bury him and still had to go through so much trouble. Before Shangguan Qingru was found, Xian Shaotian didn't dare to ascend the throne. When he ascended the throne, the empress wasn't present, and there was no master in the harem. Xian Hongyu's ability to court death was once again in a new light. Xian Shaotian probably wanted to skin Xian Hongyu alive. What made Ning Shu the most unhappy was that she didn't do anything. Why the hell did they put her on the wanted list? In the end, Shangguan Qingru was found, right before the previous emperor was buried. It was Xian Hongyu who brought Shangguan Qingru into the city. When they entered the city, the guards at the city gates even bowed to Xian Hongyu. When Xian Shaotian received the news, he quickly rescued Shangguan Qingru. Even Xian Hongyu was locked up in the palace to observe filial piety for the previous emperor. When Ning Shu heard the news, he was dumbfounded. Is Xian Hongyu sick in the head? He kidnapped Shangguan Qingru, then sent her back. Now she's in the tiger's den, controlled by Xian Shaotian. Ning Shu grabbed his hair. He was on the verge of collapse. If you came back a few days later, let's see how Xian Shaotian would deal with this. Ning Shu's heart was filled with anger. You like Shangguan Qingru, and you've already kidnapped her. You might as well just leave with her. Why the hell did you come back? Ning Shu really wanted to beat up Xian Hongyu, who was locked in the palace. Damn it, she couldn't understand what he was thinking. Now that Shangguan Qingru had been found, the guards in the capital would naturally not search for her anymore. Ning Shu let out a sigh of relief. To be honest, Ning Shu was very afraid of being caught and tortured. Just thinking about it was terrifying. He planned to return to the prince's estate first. Seeing that there was no one watching over it, Ning Shu climbed over the wall. When he jumped down from the wall, he saw a mark at the foot of the wall. It was left by the leader of the base. Ning Shu followed the mark and came to a dilapidated temple. After walking in, he saw many people standing or sitting. They all had cold expressions, and there was a baleful aura between their eyebrows. He looked at Ning Shu and asked coldly, "Why are you only here now? Ning Shu hurriedly said respectfully, "The prince's mansion has always been under surveillance." This subordinate only saw the mark now. One snorted coldly, looked at the people in the room and said, "We plan to rescue Master. I heard that Master is imprisoned in Changle Palace." Ning Shu felt that this was very unreliable. Was he going to barge into the palace just like that? It was no different from courting death. Ning Shu originally wanted to say something, but when he saw that no one else said anything, it was obvious that whatever he said was the truth. Ning Shu pursed his lips and asked, "When are we going to act?" "Tomorrow night," one said decisively. "Tomorrow is the day of the new emperor's ascension. At that time, there will be very few people paying attention to Changle Palace, so we will go and rescue Master at that time." As he said this, he took out a map from his chest. It was a detailed map of the palace. Ning Shu said, "Actually, we can dig a tunnel to Changle Palace." One looked at Ning Shu with a very cold and murderous gaze. 11. You talk too much. Are you thinking of betraying Master? After the Dog Emperor ascends the throne, he will definitely kill Master. How long will it take to dig a tunnel? The other men of sacrifice looked at Ning Shu. Some of them even pulled out their swords, wanting to kill Ning Shu in one fell swoop. Ning Shu was speechless. Did she say something wrong? She was just giving an opinion. Remember, your life belongs to Master. Everything you have belongs to Master. The meaning of your existence is Master. One said coldly, "What you need to do now is to rescue Master, even if it means using your life." Ning Shu's heart skipped a beat. She looked at the other people's expressions and suddenly understood why 11 had sacrificed half or more of her soul to save Xian Hongyu. It was because the value of her existence was Xian Hongyu. Before, he didn't understand and had been thinking about how Xian Hongyu was worthy of 11 sacrificing her soul to save him. Now, he truly understood 11's mentality. Men of sacrifice were no longer normal people. They were used to being assigned tasks by their master, and then they would not hesitate to sacrifice their lives for the task. This was their spiritual support. If this spiritual support fell, where would they go? They were used to being assigned tasks. If one day the person assigned to them was no longer around, they would be terrified and at a loss of what to do. With their hands stained with blood, the ruthless men of sacrifice could no longer live the lives of ordinary people. Their every move was different from ordinary people. Standing under the sun, they could be distinguished at a glance. Xian Hongyu's attitude towards 11 was to treat her as a tool. Even if he had to abandon her, 11 could not abandon Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu sighed in his heart and said, "This subordinate is just too worried about Master." One looked coldly at Ning Shu and began to assign tasks. They were obviously going to die, but Ning Shu could only watch and not say a word. How could the few people in their house be enough for the Imperial Guards to kill? One's plan was to create a diversion. First, they would send some people to assassinate Xian Shaotian to attract the attention of the palace guards. Then, some people would go to Changle Palace to save Xian Hongyu. Those who were assigned to assassinate Xian Shaotian were basically going to die to attract the attention of the guards. However, they did not have any expression on their faces and calmly accepted the task. This made Ning Shu gulp. Being afraid of death was an instinct. Were these people not even afraid of death? After the mission was assigned, Ning Shu was the only one left who hadn't been assigned a mission. Ning Shu asked, "Where is my mission?" One looked coldly at Ning Shu, his eyes flashing with killing intent. Ning Shu suddenly had a bad feeling. He suppressed his desire to run and asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Tie her up," one said coldly. Immediately, someone came forward and pressed Ning Shu down with his hands behind his back. Ning Shu used all his strength to break free from their control and pulled out his sword to confront them. "Did I do something wrong? Why are you tying me up?" Ning Shu was very puzzled. One looked coldly at Ning Shu and said, "I suspect that you have already betrayed Master." Ning Shu, she betrayed Xian Hongyu? How did she not know? In order to prevent you from leaking this mission, you can't go. One took out a bow from his waist and pointed an arrow at Ning Shu's head. "I originally wanted to capture you and let Master punish you after we rescue him. But now I can't tolerate you. Ning Shu was speechless. He was accusing her of betraying Xian Hongyu for no reason. Where was the evidence? Chapter 490. As soon as he pointed the crossbow at Ning Shu, the arrow flashed with a dark light. This kind of crossbow had a very strong lethality, and it also had barbs. When it was pulled out, it could tear off the skin and flesh. Ning Shu's body tensed up and stared at the arrow, and coldly said, "I did not betray the master. I believe in my feelings. Even if you did not betray the master, I cannot let you live." A shot an arrow at Ning Shu's head. Ning Shu used her chi to dodge the arrow. "Give me a reason to kill me." A coldly said, "The current you does not look like a death warrior, you cannot live." Ning Shu froze for a moment. What kind of reason was this? She saw the other party shooting arrows at her, and several death warriors were surrounding her. Ning Shu used her chi, turned around and ran out of the ruined temple, and disappeared like a wisp of smoke. Ning Shu's heart was proud. The current her was stronger than before. At least she could escape from the hands of so many people. After running for an unknown amount of time, Ning Shu stopped, stepped on a tree trunk and flew up. Seeing that no one was following behind, she patted her chest. Oh my, why did it feel like the whole world was an enemy? Xian Xiaotian wanted to kill her, and now Xian Hongyu's death warriors also wanted to kill her. When she said that she did not look like a death warrior anymore, Ning Shu patted her mouth. "Who told you to talk too much?" Death warriors did not have their own thoughts. They only needed to unswervingly carry out the master's orders. She and 11 were not the same person. She did not go through the death warrior's training, and her mental state was not the same. She and 11 were not the same person, and there would be subtle differences. Sometimes a person's subconscious actions could not be changed. Since they wanted to save people, then go save them. Saving people with such fanfare was no different from sending people to their deaths. It was meaningless. Ning Shu thought that under the premise that her life was not in danger, she would only think of saving people. Ning Shu did not enter the city directly. Instead, he sat on a tree branch and cultivated for the entire night. He only returned at dawn. As soon as he arrived at the city gate, Ning Shu was stunned. This was because there was a row of corpses hanging neatly on the city wall. Beside them, there was the sound of a guard beating gongs and drums. He said loudly, "These traitors tried to assassinate His Majesty." In order to warn others, His Majesty exposed these traitors' corpses to the sun for a month. Ning Shu saw a corpse on the ground. His neck was strangled by a rope. His body was pulling at his neck, as though his neck was being stretched out. His face was slightly tilted up, and a scar ran through his face. His face looked ferocious and full of unwillingness. The person who wanted to kill her with a crossbow was now a corpse. In this society where the imperial power was supreme and lives were worthless, they should have been completely wiped out. Ning Shu glanced at them and retracted her gaze before entering the city. He didn't know how Xian Hongyu was doing now. Did he know that so many death warriors had died to save him? But even if he knew, he probably wouldn't care. Ning Shu went into the city to inquire about the imperial palace. At most, he heard about the assassination last night. He didn't hear anything about Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu wanted to return to the third prince's palace, but there were people guarding around the third prince's palace. They were probably waiting for him to walk into the trap. Ning Shu turned around and left. He came to a very ordinary house. He pushed the door open with a creak. A thick layer of dust fell from the door. The whole house was very dilapidated, and everywhere was covered with dust and cobwebs. Ning Shu went straight to the cellar. There were people talking in the cellar. There were dim oil lamps on both sides of the cellar. Ning Shu walked over and asked a person, "Where are we now?" A man in his 40s said, "We have reached the martial arts hall. We will soon reach the Changel Palace. You know it's not easy to dig in the palace. Maybe there is a lake in front." Ning Shu frowned and said, "Can you hurry up? It's too slow. Wages are not a problem." He took out 2 ingots of gold. "Okay, I will tell the workers to hurry up. We should reach the Changel Palace tonight." The man shook the gold in his hand and smiled. The cellar was not very spacious. Ning Shu went out and waited. Ning Shu found a group of grave robbers. They were very good at digging tunnels. From the moment he stepped into the capital, Ning Shu had been planning this. Ning Shu wanted to tell them about the tunnels, but they wanted to kill her. Ning Shu thought about it and left the house. When he came back, he was carrying a sack on his shoulder. There was something inside. In the middle of the night, the tunnel to the Changel Palace was finally opened. Ning Shu was delighted when he heard that. It had finally been opened. Ning Shu had learned the tunnel method from the school doctor. The school doctor had created a tunnel between the school doctor's office and his laboratory. Ning Shu applied what he had learned. Ning Shu carried the sack on his shoulder and held an oil lamp in one hand as he walked in the tunnel with his back hunched. In the tunnel, there was no way to straighten his back. Ning Shu felt that his waist was about to break. When he was tired from carrying the sack on his shoulder, he dragged it on the ground. However, he finally reached his destination. There was a blue stone slab above. Ning Shu pushed the stone slab up with all his might. Just as he pushed it up, someone stepped on it. Ning Shu was shocked. Could it be that she had been discovered? After a while, Ning Shu pushed it up and made a crack in the obsidian floor. Through the crack, he saw a pair of shoes embroidered with auspicious clouds. Where did this big rat come from? Xian Hongyu stretched out his foot and stepped on the stone slab. Ning Shu was speechless. "Master, it's me. Don't step on it." Ning Shu used all his strength to push away the stone slab and used his qi to throw the sack away. Then he crawled out of the tunnel. When Xian Hongyu saw Ning Shu, he raised his eyebrows in surprise. "You're not dead yet?" Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu didn't know why, but he really wanted to beat him up. He really did know that his men of sacrifice had been killed by Xian Xiaoyun. Ning Shu looked at Xian Hongyu. He didn't look like he had suffered much. Living in such a luxurious palace, he didn't look like a prisoner. "Master, I'm here to save you. Let's go." Ning Shu said to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, "Where are we going if we leave this place?" "We can go anywhere." Ning Shu said as he opened the sack. There was a man's corpse inside. Xian Hongyu looked at the corpse and raised his eyebrows. Then he looked at Ning Shu. "Master, come with me." Ning Shu said to Xian Hongyu. He was here to save someone, but why did he feel so vexed? Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu. "Where are we going?" "Let's talk after we get out." Couldn't they think about where to go after they got out? "You're carrying a corpse to replace me?" Xian Hongyu sneered. "Such a lowly thing. You want to be buried with King Ding's honor and enjoy the incense offerings of the royal family?" Ning Shu was speechless. "Fuck you, you're so hard to please." Chapter 491. Was it easy for her to find a corpse similar to Xian Hongyu's? Now Xian Hongyu was still complaining. "Master, what should I do?" Ning Shu asked with a wooden face. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu. "Put the corpse away. Why would I want to die?" Ning Shu could only pick up the sack and put the corpse into it. Looking at the ashen-faced corpse, Ning Shu chanted Amitabha in his heart. Xian Hongyu walked to the candlestick and lit the curtain with a candle. Seeing this, Ning Shu hurriedly threw the corpse into the tunnel and jumped into it. Xian Hongyu also jumped down and covered the floor with his body. It was dark in the tunnel. Ning Shu took out a match and walked in front of Xian Hongyu while holding the sack. She said, "Master, follow me." Xian Hongyu nodded. Ning Shu dragged the corpse of a man without saying a word. She was so tired that she wanted to die. She wanted to find a corpse to replace Xian Hongyu so that people would think that Xian Hongyu was burned to death. Even if they found out later that the corpse was not Xian Hongyu, they would have run far away. But Xian Hongyu was too proud to use this method. He was more willing to let his life and death be a mystery. Ning Shu curled his lips. "You have nothing now. So what if your life and death is a mystery? It's the same whether you are dead or not." Ning Shu exhaled a long breath after they got out of the tunnel. He flew up to the roof and saw the fire in the direction of the palace. The fire was so big that it lit up half the sky. The whole capital was in an uproar because of the fire in the palace. Ning Shu put the sack on his shoulder and prepared to go out. Where are you going? Xian Hongyu stood in a dilapidated room surrounded by dust and cobwebs. But he was still so handsome, and his brilliance lit up the whole room. Ning Shu said, I will put this corpse back in the memorial hall. She stole it from the memorial hall. Xian Hongyu's face was expressionless. Ning Shu carried the sack over the wall and left. When he returned, he saw Xian Hongyu sitting on a stool, propping up his chin and looking at the flickering oil lamp on the table. Seeing that Ning Shu had returned, Xian Hongyu coldly said, When are we leaving? The security tomorrow will definitely be tight. Master, the city gate is now closed. We can only leave tomorrow morning. Ning Shu said. Xian Hongyu didn't say anything. Seeing Ning Shu standing there in a daze, Xian Hongyu said, I'm going to bed. Was he asking her to step down? Ning Shu turned around and left. 11. Where should I sleep? Xian Hongyu was somewhat angry. When Ning Shu came in, he saw that there was indeed no place to rest. Everywhere was dirty. He said, Master, it's going to be dawn soon. Bear with it and don't sleep. Xian Hongyu remained silent with a cold face. Mistress, we must disguise ourselves when we leave the city. Someone as graceful as you will definitely be recognized. Xian Hongyu still didn't say anything. Ning Shu looked at Xian Hongyu's face for a while. The originally slanted eyebrows had turned into slanted eyebrows. His face was smeared with powder, and his complexion became waxy yellow. In addition, Xian Hongyu's brocade clothes were too eye-catching. Ning Shu found a set of coarse clothes for Xian Hongyu to change into. Xian Hongyu glanced at the coarse clothes and then glanced at Ning Shu. Ning Shu said with a serious face, Mistress, this is all to get out of the city. Please bear with it. Xian Hongyu changed into coarse gray clothes. Although the disguise wasn't very good, there were still some differences between Xian Hongyu and the previous Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu also fiddled with himself for a while. An ugly woman came out. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu and immediately looked away. Other than necessary conversations, Xian Hongyu didn't talk to Ning Shu at all. The palace caught fire, and it was the place where the third prince lived. After a long time, they finally extinguished the fire, only to find that the third prince wasn't inside. No matter how big the fire was, it wouldn't burn a living person to death. Xian Xiaotian snorted. Shangguan Qingro, who was beside him, pouted, her face full of grievance and sadness. Xian Xiaotian, you just won't believe that nothing happened between me and Xian Hongyu. How long are you going to be angry with me? Xian Xiaotian rubbed his forehead and didn't say anything. He turned and left, sending people to search for Xian Hongyu's whereabouts. Xian Xiaotian felt that Xian Hongyu was like a flea jumping around all day. He didn't even have time to deal with him, and he already caused trouble. Xian Xiaotian couldn't wait to catch Xian Hongyu and break all the bones in his body. By the time Xian Xiaotian sent people to search, Ning Shu and Xian Xiaotian had already left the capital and were sitting on a horse. Master, can you lower your head a bit? This subordinate can't see the road ahead clearly. Ning Shu said to Xian Hongyu, who was sitting in front. Xian Hongyu lowered his body slightly. Why does this prince have to sit in front? Why is there only one horse? Ning Shu held the reins in one hand and the whip in the other. This subordinate sits in the back. If there are pursuers, this subordinate can block the attack for master. There's only one horse because this subordinate can only afford one horse. Ning Shu really didn't have any money on him. The money to dig the tunnel had been gathered by Ning Shu from all over the place. He even secretly took some things from Xian Hongyu's residence to sell. Xian Hongyu, who was sitting in Ning Shu's arms, was speechless. Ning Shu planned to return to the base to see how the child was doing. Ning Shu felt a bit guilty about the child. Outside the forest, there was no way to ride a horse. They could only walk. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu. Are we going to the training grounds? Ning Shu grunted. Although Xian Hongyu was a noble prince, he was also a person with great martial arts skills. It was very easy for him to walk through the forest. They're all dead. Why are you still alive? Xian Hongyu suddenly asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu hugged his sword and said, They said this subordinate betrayed master and didn't let this subordinate participate in the assassination. Xian Hongyu didn't say anything. Ning Shu was very curious about what happened between Xian Hongyu and Shangguan Qingru. After all, the two of them had disappeared for a long time. Master, what happened between you and Miss Shangguan? Ning Shu asked. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu and let out a cold chuckle. His sallow face coupled with such a smile made him look even more sinister and treacherous. Nothing happened between us. I didn't touch her. Xian Hongyu's voice was filled with satisfaction and schadenfreude. Ning Shu was speechless. Nothing happened? Why are you so happy? Crazy. This prince told Xian Xiaotian that Shangguan Qingru has a mole on her back. Xian Hongyu sneered. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu looked at Xian Hongyu strangely. How immoral would he have to be to do something like that? He purposely told Xian Xiaotian that he and Shangguan Qingru were no longer innocent. They had already done that. But Shangguan Qingru felt wronged. Nothing happened. Why didn't Xian Xiaotian believe her? Whether or not it happened, who could say for sure? Chapter 492. Ning Shu was very surprised. According to Xian Hongyu's personality, why didn't he do anything to Shangguan Qingru? Didn't Shangguan Qingru's body belong to him? Ning Shu walked in front of Xian Hongyu and asked, Master likes Miss Shangguan a lot. Xian Hongyu said calmly, I like her a lot, but she betrayed me, so I have to punish her. What your highness wants belongs completely to me, but Shangguan Qingru is already dirty, Xian Hongyu said calmly. Ning Shu, Shangguan Qingru is dirty? She's dirty just because she didn't marry you? This prince has thought of a new method. Didn't she want to live happily with Xian Xiaotian and grow old together? I want them to be suspicious of each other and have this thorn in their hearts for the rest of their lives. Xian Hongyu raised his chin slightly and said, Ning Shu, so wicked. Xian Hongyu's attitude towards Xian Xiaotian was that there was something between him and Shangguan Qingru, but he didn't touch her. No matter how Shangguan Qingru explained, no matter how she said that there was nothing going on between her and Xian Hongyu, the thorn in Xian Xiaotian's heart was already planted and couldn't be removed. Every time this topic was brought up, the thorn would be stabbed deeper. Ning Shu looked at Xian Hongyu and asked, Master really didn't do anything to Miss Shangguan? Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu. 11. You're talking too much. Ning Shu closed his mouth and didn't say anything else. The two of them passed through the forest. After walking for half a day, they finally arrived at the training ground. There was no one in the base. It was very spacious. There were some daily necessities that should last for a while. Xian Hongyu found his stone room with familiarity. This stone room was unique to Xian Hongyu. It was very big inside and had a complete set of study tables and furniture. Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu. 11. I'm hungry. Then I'll go hunting. Ning Shu turned around and left the cave. She quickly traversed through the forest and arrived at the she-wolf's territory. She wanted to see how the child was doing. Before Ning Shu went to the capital, the little wolves were still little wolves, but now they had grown very big. A few wolves were playing in front of the wolf den, and among them, there was a dirty child. He was crawling on the ground, crawling or sitting like a wolf, and his long hair was so dirty that it was tangled in knots. This child should be almost 1 year old, but he had no intention of walking. Instead, he crawled and walked like a wolf. He even wanted to jump like a wolf. Perhaps it was because he had been with the wolf for too long, but his eyes were a little cold. He even mimicked the wolf and bared his teeth, howling out of tune. Ning Shu walked over and picked up the child, holding him under his arm. The child was frightened by Ning Shu. Ning Shu roared and struggled violently. He even used his teeth to bite Ning Shu. Ning Shu pressed his head down to make him behave. His hand stroked the child's neck, and the child immediately became obedient, sensing danger. Ning Shu went to the riverside to wash himself. The child looked at Ning Shu and bared his teeth, showing off to Ning Shu. Ning Shu pressed his head down and pressed him into the water, looking at him coldly. The child's whimpers became softer, and he obediently let Ning Shu bathe him, but his eyes were like a wild beast's. Ning Shu washed the child clean. Other than the sword wound on his chest, There were other wounds on his body. Obviously, he had lived with the wolf and was not taken care of. There was a scar on his forehead. Ning Shu sighed. He had left the child behind because he was a rascal. Now that the matter was resolved, he naturally had to let the child return to human life. The child took advantage of the time when he was bathing himself and bit Ning Shu's wrist, not letting go. Ning Shu's face was expressionless. He pinched the tendons on the child's arm. The child did not let go at first, probably because it was too painful. The skin on his wrist was bitten, and blood was flowing out. Such a small child had a fierce strength. Ning Shu held the child under his arm and then hunted a few rabbits for dinner. Back in the cave, Xian Hongyu saw that Ning Shu had such a big child after going out for a trip. He said lightly, "What's wrong with this child?" Seeing a stranger, the child roared at Xian Hongyu. It was a strange tune, and its voice was young. "Wolf baby." Xian Hongyu smiled and took the child from Ning Shu. He narrowed his eyes slightly, thinking about something. The child was held by Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu whimpered softly. The tune sounded very pitiful, as if it wanted Ning Shu to save it. "I heard that people who grew up drinking animal milk are all gifted," Xian Hongyu said and glanced at the child's lower body. "I heard that the great general of the Qin kingdom is a wolf baby." The Qin kingdom was a neighbor of his own country, and the two countries were about the same strength. Ning Shu, "Master, let me take care of this child. He is very wild now." Ning Shu felt that Xian Hongyu was up to no good. Xian Hongyu held the child with both hands. "Well, I have decided to raise this child and see what is so special about him. I will let him fight with the great general of the Qin kingdom in the future." Ning Shu scratched his head. No, Ning Shu wanted to raise the child to be normal, and then find a family for the child to live with instead of her and Xian Hongyu. But Xian Hongyu wanted to raise the child. Was he going to raise the child into a death warrior? "Master, raising a child is very difficult. Let's send him away," Ning Shu said. There was no need to raise the child into a death warrior. Xian Hongyu had nothing now, and was being chased by Xian Shaotian. He had no capital to turn the situation around, unless he returned to his fief. Ning Shu said, "Master, are we going to the fief next?" "No hurry." Xian Hongyu put the child on the bed. The child immediately crawled to the corner and confronted Xian Hongyu. He leaned forward and made an attacking posture. Xian Hongyu was very happy. Such a young child has such keen senses. Ning Shu touched her forehead. She regretted bringing the child back. She didn't expect Xian Hongyu to be so interested in the child. But Ning Shu didn't want to give the child to her. The child was already unfortunate, and Xian Hongyu would make it worse. "Master, I will find a family for the child tomorrow. It is not suitable for you to raise the child." Xian Hongyu raised his eyebrows and looked at Ning Shu. He said coldly, 11, are you disobeying me?" 11 is thinking for you, master, Ning Shu said indifferently. "What kind of person do you want to raise him into?" "Like I said, someone like the great general of the Qin kingdom." Xian Hongyu looked unhappy. Obviously, he was very dissatisfied with Ning Shu's disobedience. Ning Shu said, "But the child needs parents." "Parents? Then I will be the child's father." Xian Hongyu grinned. Obviously, he was very interested in the child and wanted to raise him. Chapter 493. Ning Shu saw that Xian Hongyu was very interested in the child. If she said anything else, Xian Hongyu would kill her. As for Xian Hongyu saying that he wanted to be the child's father, Ning Shu just spat in her heart. She suddenly felt sorry for the child. He was targeted by Xian Hongyu. His fate was full of misfortune. He almost died before, and now he fell into Xian Hongyu's hands. 11, I'm hungry. Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu, who stood there motionless. My son is hungry too. Fuck, you want to raise the child. You should cook for yourself. Ning Shu went out of the stone room and killed the rabbit. Considering the child, she cut the rabbit meat into cubes and mixed it with rice to make meat porridge. To be a man of sacrifice, one had to be multi-talented. Not only could he kill, but he also had to be able to cook. He had to do whatever his master wanted. The kitchen was smoky, especially in a cave. The smoke did not disperse easily. Ning Shu choked to death. She barely cooked a pot of rice. Finally, she sprinkled some salt and the porridge was ready. Xian Hongyu looked at the porridge. The rabbit meat inside was snowy. He had no appetite just by looking at it. 11, you're making this for me? It was good enough to have something to eat. Ning Shu rolled her eyes in her heart. She said shamefully, I only know how to make this. Eat it or not, forget it. Although Xian Hongyu did not like to eat, the child on the stone bed smelled the food and climbed over to look at the food in the bowl. Oh, do you like it? Xian Hongyu fed the child a spoonful. It was just out of the pot, so it was very hot. The child's lips immediately turned red. He whimpered pitifully. Ning Shu immediately poured cold water on the child. The child's mouth was already red. She did not know if it would blister. I didn't do it on purpose. Xian Hongyu said, I didn't know it was so hot. You should have tested the temperature first. You should at least blow on the food to test the temperature before you eat. How dare you say that you're the father of someone else? It's not easy for the child to survive. Ning Shu gave Xian Hongyu a fake smile. Xian Hongyu clasped his hands behind his back and looked away. Ning Shu held the bowl and a spoon. He blew on the meat porridge until it cooled down before feeding it to the child. The child liked it very much and ate 2 bowls in a row. For a child of his age, it was a little too much. Good appetite. Xian Hongyu said, by the way, this child should have a name now. What's a good name? Xian Hongyu went to think about the name of the child. Ning Shu ignored him and ate some meat porridge. However, the food she cooked was really not delicious. The rabbit meat had a fishy smell. Ning Shu ate 2 mouthfuls and then stopped. Xian Hongyu thought for a long time and finally came up with a name, Xian Miaxiao. Xian Miaxiao? The word, xiao, shouldn't be what she thought it was, right? Was it really a good idea to give the child such a name? How did Xian Xiaotian feel when he heard it? Ning Shu's face twitched. He didn't know why, but Xian Hongyu's every move was asking for trouble. He looked cold and elegant, but the things he did always made Ning Shu feel disillusioned. Master, do you think this name is good? Ning Shu asked Xian Hongyu. This bastard not only asked for trouble, but also asked the child who didn't know anything to do it. Xian Hongyu's face was cold. He was very dissatisfied with Ning Shu's reaction. Does it not sound good? If Xian Miaxiao doesn't sound good, let's call him Xian Tu Xiao. Ning Shu, although I know you hate Xian Xiaotian, you can't do this. Ning Shu felt that Xian Hongyu was doing it on purpose. Master, as long as you're happy. Ning Shu grinned. Xian Hongyu said that he wanted to raise the child. He said some obscure knowledge to the child and the child curled up in a ball to sleep, completely ignoring Xian Hongyu. To this, Ning Shu could only say, as long as you're happy. Xian Hongyu obviously didn't have any experience in taking care of a child. All these things fell on Ning Shu's head. Ning Shu had to feed the child every day, bathe him, and let him try to stand up and walk. When he spoke, his lips were more exaggerated. He wanted the child to stop howling like a wolf. Even when he cried, it sounded like a wolf's whimper. Xian Hongyu was only responsible for holding books and educating the child. All day long, he would talk to the child about things that even Ning Shu couldn't understand. Taking care of a child was very frustrating. It made Ning Shu very frustrated, especially when the child only knew how to crawl like a wolf. He wasn't used to pulling him up and even opened his mouth to bite people. When he was relieving himself, he wouldn't call for help. He would crawl wherever he went and poop. Then he would be covered in feces. Ning Shu didn't know how difficult it was to raise a child. It was simply mentally and physically exhausting. When he talked to him, he was ignorant and didn't know anything. Ning Shu silently chanted the clear heart mantra. When she thought about how she was partly responsible for the child's current state, she suppressed the anxiety in her heart. After a period of feeding, the child became more familiar with Ning Shu. They were closer, but he still couldn't speak. Occasionally, Ning Shu would hold his hands. He could walk upright for 2 steps, but he couldn't walk more. There wasn't much food left in the cave. Ning Shu planned to go out to get some daily necessities. He also wanted to find out what was going on outside. Ning Shu instructed Xian Hongyu, Master, I'm going to buy some food. Xian. Miao, please take care of him. Xian Hongyu coldly grunted, go ahead. I can take care of him. Ning Shu didn't believe that Xian Hongyu could take care of the child. Master. Ning Shu looked at Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu and said as if he was doing him a favor, go and come back early. Ning Shu, Master, I don't have money to buy anything, Ning Shu said. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu and went to the stone room to take 2 silver ingots for Ning Shu. Go and come back early. Ning Shu took the silver ingots. Xian Hongyu was indeed rich. This was one of Xian Hongyu's dens. Buy a few dishes when you come back, Xian Hongyu said. Xian Hongyu wasn't someone who had a strong appetite. He was probably doubting his life after eating Ning Shu's food all this time. Ning Shu took the silver ingots and left. He first bought the things he needed to buy. Then, he began to inquire about what happened in the capital. The news he received made Ning Shu dumbfounded. Xian Hongyu was dead. Chang'e Palace caught fire. Xian Shaotian immediately announced that King Ding, Xian Hongyu, had been burned to death. Then, Xian Hongyu had been buried. Ning Shu frowned. Xian Xiaoyan's move directly cut off Xian Hongyu's escape route. Xian Hongyu could no longer return to his fief. After all, Xian Hongyu was dead. If Xian Hongyu returned to his fief, he might even be arrested. Impersonating a relative of the emperor was a serious crime. Xian Hongyu was really courting death. He lost his woman and his noble status. In the future, he wouldn't be able to say his name openly. Chapter 494. Ning Shu wasn't in the mood to buy groceries for Xian Hongyu. He bought some food and went back. Ning Shu carried the food back. As soon as he entered the stone room, he smelled a stench. Ning Shu knew that a child had pooped. Xian Hongyu stood in the corner, his body covered in black gas. He just watched the child crawl on the floor. Wherever the child crawled, the child's feces would be stained. Ning Shu was speechless. Even if he didn't wash the child, he wouldn't have messed up the room like this. Hurry up and take him away, Xian Hongyu said coldly to Ning Shu. Fuck, this is your son. His surname is Xian. Since he wanted to be a father, he had to bear the responsibility of being a father. Ning Shu put the child in the water, washed him, and placed him on the stone bed. Xian Hongyu was looking for the things Ning Shu bought. Ning Shu asked, "Where are the groceries I asked you to buy?" Ning Shu was still in the mood to eat at this time. She said, "Master, something bad has happened." Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu coldly. Ning Shu told Xian Hongyu everything he heard. When Xian Hongyu heard the news, he was expressionless. Ning Shu didn't know what he was thinking. He asked, "Master, what should we do now?" Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu and didn't say anything. Ning Shu saw him like this and went to cook. Xian Hongyu really didn't have anything now. No, he still had her, a loyalist, and a son. Ning Shu was feeding Xian Miaxiao when Xian Hongyu came out of the stone room. His expression was indifferent. He was still as handsome and cold as ever. Xian Hongyu asked Ning Shu to scoop rice for him. When Xian Hongyu ate, his every move was elegant and noble. Even in the stone room, looking at him made people feel like they were in a jade palace. Ning Shu looked at the silent Xian Hongyu and asked, "Master, what should we do next?" "Can you stop asking me what to do?" Xian Hongyu said coldly. Ning Shu pursed his lips. "See, even your claws are numb." Since things were already like this, Xian Hongyu should just live an ordinary life. After all, Xian Xiaonan was the emperor. The two of them were not on the same level. If Xian Shaotian wanted to kill Xian Hongyu, it would be a piece of cake. "Master, don't talk." Xian Hongyu interrupted Ning Shu. Ning Shu could only keep his mouth shut. The next day, Xian Hongyu woke up early in the morning and said to Ning Shu, who was cooking breakfast in the smoky fire, "Clean up my face. I want to enter the city." Ning Shu asked, "Master, why did you enter the city?" 11. You talk too much, Xian Hongyu said coldly. Ning Shu pursed his lips and disguised Xian Hongyu with his poor disguise skills. Xian Hongyu was good-looking and had an elegant temperament. It was not easy for him to disguise himself. Temperament was something that was emitted from the bones. After a while, it was barely possible. Ning Shu could not help but say to Xian Hongyu, "Master, it is very dangerous for you to enter the city like this. Why don't I go with you?" Ning Shu had to keep Xian Hongyu alive. At least when she left this world, Xian Hongyu would be alive. As for whether Xian Hongyu lived or died after she left, she did not care. Xian Hongyu looked coldly at Ning Shu. "What danger can there be? I am not going to barge into the palace." "You will." Ning Shu felt that with Xian Hongyu's death wish, he would definitely do such a thing. If he was caught by Xian Xiaotian, Ning Shu did not think that he could get him out again. Most likely, Xian Xiaotian would kill Xian Hongyu immediately to prevent him from causing any more trouble. Ning Shu's heart was filled with apprehension. "Don't be impulsive," Ning Shu exhorted. "Master, you must be careful." Xian Hongyu nodded and looked at Xian Miexiao, who was crawling on the ground. He said, "Take care of him. I will be back soon." After Xian Hongyu left, Ning Shu felt very anxious. He was afraid that Xian Hongyu would cause trouble. Xian Hongyu finally came back in the afternoon. Seeing that he had returned safely, Ning Shu was relieved. Seeing the smile on Xian Hongyu's face, Ning Shu felt very uneasy, very uneasy. "Master, do you want to eat?" Ning Shu asked Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu waved his hand. Ning Shu smelled a faint smell of alcohol on him. He must have eaten outside. Ning Shu was very curious and asked, "Master, what did you do today?" 11. Are you questioning me? Xian Hongyu's face was cold. "I don't dare." Ning Shu saw that Xian Hongyu was holding back his evil intentions, but when she asked him, he wouldn't tell her. Ning Shu found an excuse to go to the city to buy some vegetables for her child. She went to the city to see what Xian Hongyu had done. Hearing that Ning Shu was going to buy things, Xian Hongyu's face darkened. He said, "Come back quickly. Otherwise, he will go around." The elegant young master couldn't say such vulgar words. After Ning Shu entered the city, he found that the security was tight again. Xian Hongyu's arrest warrant was hung on the city wall. The warrant said that Xian Hongyu was a fugitive. Ning Shu? What did Xian Hongyu do in the city to make Xian Xiaotian arrest him? What did he do to make Xian Xiaotian so angry? Ning Shu went to a tea house. In this kind of place, he could hear what was happening in the capital. Following that, Ning Shu heard something that made him spit out his tea. Prince Ding, who had died not long ago, was burned alive in Changle Palace by the current emperor. His body was so charred that even the previous emperor couldn't recognize him. As for why the emperor wanted to kill Prince Ding, it was because Prince Ding made a cuckold of the emperor. The empress, Shangguan Qingrou, had an affair with Prince Ding, so the emperor burned Prince Ding alive out of anger. In any case, this royal affair had spread through the streets and alleys. Even if Xian Xiaotian wanted to shut the mouths of the people, there were so many people that he couldn't stop them. Ning Shu. This matter was definitely done by Xian Hongyu. Since Xian Xiaotian wanted him dead, he would make Xian Xiaotian a cuckold. This, Ning Shu didn't know what to say. He could only kneel down in front of Xian Hongyu. How could he do such a thing that hurt the enemy and hurt himself? Furthermore, Xian Hongyu was one of the people involved in this story. Xian Hongyu would only be satisfied if he dug his own grave. He really wouldn't stop digging his own grave. Not only did he want to take revenge on Xian Xiaotian by killing him, he also wanted to sow discord between Xian Xiaotian and Shangguan Qingrou. He even ruined Shangguan Qingrou's reputation. For the empress of a country to do such a thing, Shangguan Qingrou's current situation must be very bad. Even if Shangguan Qingrou was innocent, the public opinion didn't care whether she was innocent or not. The most sullen thing was that she was innocent. If she really did it, she would be willing to admit to it. But she didn't do it. It was simply mentally and physically exhausting. This was like Shangguan Qingrou being roasted alive. He finally understood why Xian Hongyu didn't want to meet Shangguan Qingrou. Chapter 495. After Xian Hongyu kidnapped Shangguan Qingrou, he didn't do anything to her. He even brought Shangguan Qingrou on a tour. Shangguan Qingrou seemed to be having a lot of fun. Shangguan Qingrou definitely didn't expect this to happen. Xian Hongyu said he wanted to destroy Shangguan Qingrou. Now, Shangguan Qingrou had already been destroyed. His obsession with Shangguan Qingrou was still in his bones. He used this method to destroy Shangguan Qingrou. This was a terrifying possessiveness. Xian Xiaotian was probably driven mad by Xian Hongyu. He used this method to make everyone uneasy. Especially now that Xian Hongyu had nothing, he wasn't afraid of anything. Ning Shu went back after buying groceries. When he returned to the mountains, he saw Xian Hongyu holding a book and talking to Xian Miaxiao about profound and incomprehensible things. Thinking about the rumors in the capital, Ning Shu sucked in a toothache. Ning Shu felt that they should move. If they continued to stay like this, they would definitely be caught. Especially when Xian Hongyu was plucking a tiger's beard. Seeing Ning Shu come, Xian Miaxiao actually got up from the ground and staggered towards Ning Shu. Ning Shu put down the things in his hands and caught the child who was about to fall. Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu, closed the book, and entered the stone room. Ning Shu followed behind Xian Hongyu and said to him, "Master, why don't we change places?" Ning Shu felt that they couldn't stay here any longer. Every time she went to the city to buy things, she wouldn't buy from the same store. She was afraid of exposing herself. But now, the capital was no longer safe. There were so many guards and wanted posters. Fugitives were heavily rewarded regardless of whether they were dead or alive. This showed Xian Xiaotian's anger. They had to change places in such a big world. She was still in this world, which meant that the mission hadn't been completed yet. Ning Shu wanted Xian Hongyu and Xian Xiaotian to stay away from each other. If they got too close, something would happen. Xian Hongyu raised his eyebrows. Even if we have to leave, now is not the time. Ning Shu, don't tell me you still want to see Xian Xiaotian's battered appearance, rejoicing in his misfortune. If you're really caught by Xian Xiaotian, you'll die a horrible death. After plucking the tiger's beard, he didn't run away immediately. Instead, he wanted to admire the tiger's painful expression. Ning Shu's horizons were truly broadened by this kind of suicidal behavior. "Master, don't talk." Xian Hongyu interrupted Ning Shu. "This prince is hungry." Ning Shu really wanted to slap him in the face. If people wanted to court death, there was no way to stop them. Ning Shu angrily chopped the vegetables and then the meat, mixing them into a pot of porridge. This was the only thing she knew how to do. Stir-frying was too difficult. When the food was placed on the table, Xian Hongyu looked at the food in the bowl and shook his head helplessly. Ning Shu fed Xian Miaxiao while saying to Xian Hongyu, "Master, this subordinate still thinks that we should change places. This place is too dangerous." The power of a country couldn't be underestimated. Ning Shu didn't think that they would be safe here. "Moreover, Master, you're wanted." "It's precisely because I'm wanted that I have to stay here. If I leave here and interact with people frequently, I'll be recognized." Xian Hongyu said indifferently. Ning Shu was speechless. Didn't he just not want to leave? Why was he so persistent? He felt that Xian Hongyu's true love for Xian Xiaotian was. He was so persistent and kept causing trouble for Xian Xiaotian. "You mischievous little vixen." Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu and said indifferently, "If you want to leave, then leave. This prince won't force you to stay." Ning Shu wanted to leave, but when she thought of the mission, she couldn't straighten her back and say that she didn't want to play with Xian Hongyu anymore. Although she only knew how to make all kinds of things mixed with rice, Ning Shu was sure that once she left, Xian Hongyu would have to wait to eat dirt. Also, could Xian Hongyu take care of his son? Could he take care of this child just like that? Ning Shu pursed her lips and said unwillingly, "Master, you must be joking. This subordinate is Master's secret guard. How could I leave Master?" Xian Hongyu nodded and instructed Ning Shu, "Don't go into the city to buy things for a while." Ning Shu pursed her lips. Of course, she wouldn't go at such a critical time. Instead, she was worried that Xian Hongyu would cause trouble again. "Master, don't go either," Ning Shu said to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu nodded and put down his chopsticks. "It's really enough to eat this every day. Next time, cook some dishes with oil." "Master, there's meat and vegetables in the porridge. It's very healthy." Ning Shu said, "The child likes it too. It was fine as long as there was something to eat. Why did he have so many opinions? If he wanted to eat, he could make it himself. Recently, Xian Hongyu had been staying at home obediently. Sometimes he would read some obscure books to Xian Yexiao. Sometimes he would even go fishing by the river. He seemed to be very relaxed. However, Ning Shu's heart was in suspense. When she saw Xian Hongyu courting death, she was scared witless. Even if he didn't court death now, Ning Shu's heart would still be in suspense. Meeting such a master was simply the misfortune of 18 lifetimes. However, what made Ning Shu happier was that Xian Yexiao, this child, could now hold onto the stone wall and walk slowly step by step. Sometimes 1 or 2 syllables would come out of his mouth. Obviously, he was learning how to talk to Ning Shu and Xian Hongyu. She suddenly felt a sense of pride as a mother. Although Xian Hongyu recognized this child as his son, he rarely took care of him. It was always Ning Shu who took care of this child. Sometimes she could sew simple clothes, but it was hard for her, a person with a sword, to sew with an embroidery needle. All she did all day was wash, sew, cook, and do the housework. Sure enough, every world was a brand new life. However, this kind of daily life was very tiring and draining for people. A woman staying at home and taking care of everything at home was much more difficult than a man. Ning Shu hoped that when 11 came back, he would be able to find his own happiness instead of putting everything on Xian Hongyu, waiting for Xian Hongyu to assign him tasks, and standing behind Xian Hongyu without any complaints or regrets. Others treated her as a tool, but she couldn't treat herself as a tool. Humans had pain and joy. 11 had the right to find her own joy and make herself happy. Xian Hongyu's attitude towards 11 was that she was a tool. How could he have any emotions towards a tool? Even if Xian Hongyu was now in dire straits, he still acted high and mighty in front of her. Their thinking had already been fixed. Would the farmers be polite to the hoe in their hands? Therefore, Ning Shu hoped that 11 could have her own life instead of using Xian Hongyu as her spiritual support. To be honest, a person of Xian Hongyu's status would never consider people like 11. However, a person like 11 had to risk her life for Xian Hongyu. Previously, so many shadow guards died to save Xian Hongyu, but Xian Hongyu didn't say anything. Chapter 496. In the end, Ning Shu decided to leave. The capital had been turned upside down. The guards were not only searching the city, they were also searching for Xian Hongyu. It was obvious that they were determined to catch Xian Hongyu. Xian Xiaoyan had been stabbed in his sore spot. If they didn't leave, they would be caught sooner or later. However, what made Ning Shu even more frustrated was that Xian Hongyu refused to leave. The current Xian Hongyu gave Ning Shu the feeling that he didn't care about life or death. It was as if he didn't care about anything. It made him gnash his teeth in hatred. Ning Shu was burning with impatience. He couldn't calm down even when he was doing the college entrance exam. Ning Shu looked at the leisurely Xian Hongyu. Since you don't want to leave, I can only use force. For the sake of his mission, Ning Shu decided to give it his all. If it wasn't for the mission, Ning Shu would definitely laugh and watch Xian Hongyu court death. Ning Shu sneered as he touched the medicinal powder in his arms. Under the moonlight, Ning Shu drove the horse carriage on the road. He already had a destination in mind. Ning Shu lifted the curtain and looked at Xian Hongyu and Xian Miexiao who were sleeping in the carriage. I was talking nicely to you, but you didn't listen and forced me to use force. If this wasn't despicable, then what was? Ning Shu didn't close his eyes for the entire night. He drove the horse carriage, thinking that it would be better to get as far away from the capital as possible. When the sun was about to rise, Ning Shu stopped to let the horse rest. He also lit a fire to make some breakfast. What kind of place is this? Xian Hongyu came out of the horse carriage. When he came out, his head hit the carriage and his body staggered. Xian Hongyu rubbed his groggy head and looked around. Ning Shu questioned, 11, what are you doing? You are offending your superior, Xian Hongyu said coldly as he looked at Ning Shu. His eyes were narrowed, and there was a murderous aura in them. This subordinate is thinking for master's safety. There are already people coming from the surroundings of the training grounds. If we don't leave, we will definitely be captured. Ning Shu explained. There were only 2 of them, and Xian Xiaotian had thousands of soldiers and horses. How could they win? Xian Hongyu didn't care about his own life, but Ning Shu had to ensure Xian Hongyu's survival. If he didn't complete his mission, he would be obliterated. Damn, it's really hard to protect someone who's always looking for trouble. Xian Hongyu coldly stared at Ning Shu. He walked over and said to Ning Shu, "I'm thirsty, pour me a cup of water." Ning Shu went to the carriage to get a bowl. He poured some water from the water bag and handed it to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu reached out to take the bowl, but when he saw his hand, he was instantly stunned. He stared at his hand in a daze. Xian Hongyu's jade-white hand had many oval-shaped sores, and these sores were emitting yellow water. Xian Hongyu was incomparably shocked. He turned his hand over and looked at it. How did his hand become like this when he woke up? When he touched his face, there were these things on his face. This, what happened? Xian Hongyu's expression was confused and shocked, as if he had been frightened. Ning Shu's expression was very sad. He opened his mouth and finally said, "Master, you have leprosy." "Impossible." Xian Hongyu refuted without thinking. "Impossible? How could I have leprosy?" Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu. "What did you do to me?" "This subordinate didn't." Ning Shu hurriedly shook his head. "This subordinate only put some aphrodisiac in Master's food. I really don't know why Master is like this." "Master, did you eat something strange?" Ning Shu's face was serious and loyal. "Master, when we reach the next town, let's find a doctor to take a look." Xian Hongyu frowned tightly, his face trembling. He looked as if he was about to collapse. He looked at Ning Shu. "You must have done something to me." "This subordinate really didn't." "Why would this subordinate do such a disgraceful thing to Master?" Ning Shu was very serious. "Furthermore, this subordinate doesn't have the ability to do so." Xian Hongyu frowned tightly and lowered his head slightly. For a moment, he was somewhat dispirited. In this era, leprosy was an incurable disease. "Alright, since it's like this, let's go back." "Go back to the capital," Xian Hongyu said indifferently. Ning Shu. Could it be that he felt that he didn't have long to live and simply let Xian Xiaotian catch him and then pass the leprosy disease to Xian Xiaotian? Ning Shu's mouth twitched. "Master, the capital isn't safe now. There are many miraculous doctors in this world. Your leprosy will definitely be cured. Master, even if you have leprosy, we have to be strong, strong." Ning Shu encouraged Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu indifferently. "Did you poison me?" Xian Hongyu couldn't believe that he had leprosy because he had never come into contact with a leper before. How could he suddenly have leprosy? Ning Shu hurriedly shook his head. "Master, this subordinate really has no reason to do so. This subordinate is loyal to Master and would never do such a disgraceful thing. This subordinate doesn't know what kind of poison can cause syphilis, no, leprosy. Since I have leprosy, why aren't you afraid of me? This thing is contagious." Xian Hongyu looked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu immediately puffed out his chest and firmly said, "This subordinate is Master's death soldier. I live for Master and die for Master. I will climb a mountain of swords and dive into a sea of fire for Master. Even if Master has leprosy, this subordinate is not afraid." Xian Hongyu laughed coldly. Coupled with his face full of eczema, it was needless to say how horrifying it was. Seeing such a peerless face ruined like this, Ning Shu silently looked away and chanted Amitabha in his heart. It was a tragedy that such a beautiful thing was destroyed. Xian Hongyu turned his hand over and looked at it with an indifferent expression. Ning Shu was afraid that Xian Hongyu would take things too hard and asked, "Master, how do you feel now? Is it itchy? Even if it's itchy, don't scratch it. If you scratch it, it will fester. Master, wait until we reach the city and find a doctor to take a look. While you're at it, ask about miraculous doctors and then this subordinate will take you to find one." "Master, please don't scratch it if it's itchy," Ning Shu said again. Xian Hongyu didn't feel anything before, but now that he heard Ning Shu say the word itchy, he suddenly felt itchy all over his body. He couldn't help but want to scratch it. "Master, Please don't scratch it. Ning Shu immediately stopped Xian Hongyu. Master, just bear with it. Even if it's itchy, don't scratch it. The more you scratch, the itchier it will be. You shut up. The more you say, the itchier it will be. Xian Hongyu growled at Ning Shu. Ning Shu immediately shut his mouth. Ning Shu took out a cloak from the carriage and said to Xian Hongyu, Master, leprosy can't be exposed to the wind. Wear this cloak. Xian Hongyu sneered, You even prepared a cloak. 11. If you don't have a guilty conscience, this prince will kill himself. Ning Shu took the cloak and said with a face full of grievance, Master, this subordinate really doesn't have a guilty conscience. I'm wearing this cloak because Master is too handsome. Wearing this cloak will cover up your peerless beauty. Chapter 497. Xian Hongyu put on a cloak and wrapped himself up tightly. Even his face was covered by the black veil hanging down from his hat. Where are we going? Xian Hongyu glanced at Ning Shu through the black veil. I was planning to go to the towns around His Highness's fief. Now that something like this has happened to His Highness, I've decided to bring you there to treat your illness, Ning Shu said seriously. Xian Hongyu remained silent. The black veil covered his face and his expression couldn't be seen clearly. Xian Miexiao woke up in the carriage. Ning Shu carried Xian Miexiao down and fed him something. Xian Hongyu sat on the other side of the bonfire, further away from Ning Shu and Xian Miexiao. Master, it's okay. I'll apply some mugwort leaf juice on the child later. It won't be so easy to get infected, Ning Shu said. Xian Hongyu only nodded. Don't look for a doctor. Let's go back to the capital, Xian Hongyu said. Ning Shu, this person was simply crazy. But, Master, if you go back like this, you'll only make the people who are laughing at you happy. Master, what you need to do now is to cure Mei Pui leprosy. Master will definitely make a comeback. Ning Shu didn't want Xian Hongyu to go back. Xian Hongyu didn't say anything. Ning Shu took it that he agreed. Ning Shu applied mugwort leaf juice on Xian Miexiao's body. He said to Xian Hongyu, who was standing there like a wooden stake, Master, let's go. Xian Hongyu didn't enter the carriage. Instead, he sat beside Ning Shu. Xian Miexiao was the only child in the carriage. Clearly, Xian Hongyu was afraid that he would pass the leprosy to the child if he got close to Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu shouted and waved her whip. She glanced at Xian Hongyu from the corner of her eyes. The black veil covered his face so that Ning Shu could not see his expression. Ning Shu felt that under the black veil was a lifeless face. He really wanted to see it. Master, don't talk. Xian Hongyu didn't want to talk. Ning Shu pursed his lips. Ning Shu traveled at a leisurely pace. After a night's work, he was now quite a distance away from the capital. As Ning Shu steered the horse, he lifted the curtains to look at the child in the carriage. After a while, Xian Miexiao fell asleep again. Swoosh! Suddenly, a sharp wooden stick flew from the side of the road towards the wheel. Ning Shu pulled the reins and swung the whip, entangling the wooden stick and throwing it to the side. Hand over all your valuables. Many people appeared on the side of the road. Each of them was holding a broadsword in their hands. Their faces were filled with the aura of bandits and ferocity. They had encountered bandits. Yo, there's also a little girl. Although she's a little ugly, she's still a woman. One of the bandits looked at Ning Shu and then at Xian Hongyu, who was covered from head to toe. He said to the leader, Boss, this person is covered so tightly. If he's not a beauty, then he's an ugly freak. Capture him. The bandits secretly looked at Xian Hongyu with a lustful gaze. Let me have a taste first. Xian Hongyu had a noble aura. Even if his entire body was covered, he still made people feel that he was inviolable. Ning Shu was speechless. Damn, he was treating Xian Hongyu as a woman. How could a woman have such a big frame and not remember anything? It was probably because of the dangerous atmosphere outside that Xian Miexiao, who was in the carriage, became restless and impatient. He couldn't stop crying. There's also a child. The bandit leader licked his lips. He looked a little frightening. Before Ning Shu could take action, Xian Hongyu reached out and took the whip from Ning Shu's hand. He got off the carriage and walked to the bandit leader. He whipped the bandit leader fiercely. When the other bandits saw this, they wanted to go up and support their boss. Xian Hongyu was not in a hurry. Facing the bandits who rushed over, he wrapped his whip around them and directly threw them out. The bandits who were thrown out hit the tree trunk and immediately couldn't get up. They vomited blood from their mouths. When the bandits saw how fierce this beauty was, he didn't dare to rush forward. He could only watch as his head was whipped. The bandit leader couldn't run even if he wanted to. Every time he tried to run, he would be whipped back. Xian Hongyu swung the whip unhurriedly, but every time the whip landed on the bandit leader's body, the bandit leader would cry out in pain. Ning Shu felt that Xian Hongyu was venting his anger on this unlucky bandit. The sound of the whip whistling through the air was chilling. The other bandits didn't dare to get close to Xian Hongyu. They rushed over to Ning Shu, wanting to control Ning Shu. Ning Shu drew his sword and killed the people who rushed over. These people relied on robbing for a living. Not only did they want money, but they also wanted lives. Ning Shu's actions were swift, so the other bandits didn't dare to rush forward. Xian Hongyu whipped the bandit leader to death. Some parts of his skin were torn, revealing the white bones. After whipping the bandit leader to death, Xian Hongyu looked at the bandits. Even though they were separated by a black veil, when Xian Hongyu's gaze swept over the bandits, they couldn't help but shiver and run away. Xian Hongyu chased after the bandits, obviously wanting to kill them all. Ning Shu called out for her master, but Xian Hongyu ignored her and chased after her. Ning Shu could only wait for him to come back. Then, she comforted the crying Xian Miaxiao and gave Xian Hongyu some jerky to grind his teeth. After a while, Ning Shu leaned on the carriage and almost fell asleep. He didn't sleep the whole night, but after a while, Xian Hongyu still didn't come back. Ning Shu felt that something was wrong. Ning Shu was shocked. She immediately turned the horse around and ran back. Xian Hongyu definitely took the opportunity to escape. After running for a while, Ning Shu finally saw Xian Hongyu in a cloak. Xian Hongyu looked back at Ning Shu and quickened his pace. However, his 2 legs couldn't compare to the 4 legs of a horse. "Master, where are you going?" Ning Shu asked Xian Hongyu lightly. Xian Hongyu said, "I thought about it and still think that I should go back to the capital. The doctors in the capital are better than those barefoot doctors in the countryside." Ah. Ning Shu gave a fake smile and said, "Master, do you want to be covered in blisters or infected with leprosy? You can't even go through the city gate. How are you going to see a doctor?" Ning Shu was really speechless that Xian Hongyu had to run to the capital. "Master, don't give up on the treatment. Don't drag it out. If you drag it out, the treatment will be troublesome. Master, don't be stubborn." Ning Shu looked at Xian Hongyu. Ning Shu patted the carriage. "Master, get on." Xian Hongyu didn't move and ignored Ning Shu. Ning Shu said again, "Master, are you itchy?" Xian Hongyu's body moved, as if he was itching. In the end, he sat beside Ning Shu. He gave off a cold aura and didn't say a word. Ning Shu glanced at him and turned the horse around. Ning Shu, who hadn't slept the whole night, was a bit sleepy. Xian Hongyu had already scared her awake. She had to follow Xian Hongyu closely from now on. "Master, why are you in such a hurry to go back to the capital?" Ning Shu asked. Xian Hongyu snorted and said, "I have to go back and see how Shengguan Rou is doing." "What does it have to do with you?" If Shengguan Rou saw Xian Hongyu, she would probably take him down with her. Chapter 498. After walking for a long time, they finally arrived at a small town. Ning Shu saw a wanted poster for Xian Hongyu at the entrance of the town. Was he going to be wanted all over the country? This time, Xian Xiaoyan was really pissed off. Seeing the wanted poster, Xian Hongyu didn't say anything, as if he didn't care at all. When the carriage was about to enter the city, it was stopped. The guard said to Xian Hongyu, who was completely covered, "Take off your hat." Ning Shu hurriedly said, "Sir, this is my master. Because he is sick, he has been seeking treatment everywhere. It is really inconvenient for him to take off his hat." "No, there are rules above. Anyone who wants to enter has to be checked," the guard said mercilessly. Ning Shu had no choice but to grab Xian Hongyu's arm and lift up Xian Hongyu's sleeve, revealing an arm full of pus. When the guard saw the arm, he hurriedly retreated and covered his mouth. Ning Shu waved his hand and said, "Go in, go in." "Thank you, sir." Ning Shu whipped the horse and entered the city. Once in the city, Ning Shu first went to the medical hall. The doctors there all said that it was leprosy. Xian Hongyu pursed his lips and didn't say anything. He put on his hat, but there was a sense of desolation all over his body. Ning Shu said firmly, "Master, you will get better." Xian Hongyu didn't say anything. Ning Shu carried Xian Miexiao and started to shop. He bought tiger cubs and candied haws for Xian Miexiao. Xian Hongyu followed behind Ning Shu silently. Ning Shu gave a stick of candied haws to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu said coldly, "I don't eat this kind of thing." "Anyway, you are going to die. What's the loss in trying it?" "Master, I said something wrong." Xian Hongyu's eyes were cold through the black veil. He took the stick of candied haws from Ning Shu's hand and held it in his hand without eating it. "I want to return to the capital," Xian Hongyu said. Ning Shu ignored him and bought some rouge and face powder from a small stall. These things were all for disguise. Then, he went into the shop to buy clothes and shoes for Xian Miexiao, as well as clothes for Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu had to change his clothes frequently. Xian Hongyu followed Ning Shu and said, "I want to go back to the capital." "Go back to the capital." "Master, let's talk about this later. Let this subordinate buy the things." Ning Shu bought some dry food and salt. Xian Hongyu said coldly, 11, you've got guts now. You even dare to disobey my orders. Do you think you can escape from my control just because I have nothing left?" "Master, I don't think so. No matter what I do, I want you to live. It's all for your safety. Even if you want to kill me, I will still do it," Ning Shu said. After buying the things, Ning Shu left the city. It was already dark, so they could only spend the night outside. "Why don't you spend the night in the inn?" Xian Hongyu asked coldly. Ning Shu said, "Master, the inn won't accept us in such a situation." Xian Hongyu took off his hat, revealing a head of beautiful black hair. However, his face wasn't very good-looking. However, his facial features were still very exquisite and his foundation was good. Even if his face was full of pustules, he wouldn't be too ugly. "What are you looking at? There's no one here. It's too hot for me to wear a hat," Xian Hongyu said as he fanned himself with his hat. Ning Shu didn't say anything. He helped Xian Miexiao apply some mosquito-repellent medicine. There were many mosquitoes in the wild, but he didn't know how long this kind of life would last. Ning Shu had no choice but to drag Xian Hongyu around. Actually, it wasn't bad to run around. He could see the local customs of various places. This kind of life was very good. "Master, I've heard that there's a godly doctor in the western region with superb medical skills. Master's leprosy will definitely be cured. Master, let's go to the western region," Ning Shu said to Xian Hongyu. Xian Hongyu stopped fanning himself with his hat. There was anger between his brows. "Are you sure that I'll still be alive when we reach the western region?" "I'm sure." Ning Shu nodded. Xian Hongyu was speechless. Xian Hongyu fanned himself with his hat. Finally, he said to Ning Shu, "I've decided to go back to the capital." Ning Shu poured a bowl of medicine for Xian Hongyu. He handed it to Xian Hongyu and said, "Master, it's time to take your medicine." "Master, your condition doesn't look serious now. However, in the later stages, your eyes will be corroded and your skin will fester. Master, when we find a godly doctor, you'll be cured completely," Ning Shu said calmly. Xian Hongyu looked coldly at Ning Shu. He held his breath and drank the bowl of medicine. At night, Xian Hongyu slept in the carriage. Ning Shu squatted on a tree. He practiced his ultimate martial arts while paying attention to Xian Hongyu. Just like that, Ning Shu and Xian Hongyu walked and stopped as they headed towards the western region. Xian Miexiao was forced to follow Ning Shu and Xian Hongyu and live in the open. However, Xian Miexiao could now call Xian Hongyu father. He could occasionally say simple words and walk slowly. Xian Hongyu seemed to have found a joy in the boring journey. He taught Xian Miexiao, who had just learned how to call him father, how to speak. He made Xian Miexiao repeat what he said, regardless of whether Xian Miexiao could understand. Xian Hongyu shook his head with a look of disappointment. He said that the great general of the Qin country was very smart. Ning Shu was speechless. After a while, Xian Hongyu stopped complaining about going back to the capital. He probably felt that it was too far away from the capital. Besides, there was no point in going back. Every time they passed by a town, Ning Shu had to go in to replenish his daily necessities. Every time they entered the city, Ning Shu would lift Xian Hongyu's arm and reveal the pustules on it. He would say that his young master was here to see a doctor. Xian Hongyu was disgusted at first, but after a while, he let it go. Xian Hongyu said that Ning Shu would get retribution for using a dying person like this. Ning Shu was speechless. Xian Hongyu still believed in retribution? Because Ning Shu brewed medicine for Xian Hongyu every day, Xian Hongyu's leprosy was maintained in a neither bad state. It didn't worsen. Along the way, Ning Shu and Xian Hongyu saw a lot. They passed by grasslands and saw herds of cows and sheep. They arrived at Sand City. The houses here were all made of mud. There was also an endless desert. They walked from summer to winter and then to summer. Xian Xiaotian could speak clearly and concisely. They changed horses many times, and a few carriages were worn out. Traveling in ancient times was really slow. Every time they saw a different scenery, Ning Shu's heart was very calm. His heart was very smooth. From the small bridge, flowing water, and houses to the lonely smoke in the desert, it was simply a spiritual cleansing. Xian Hongyu sometimes didn't even wear a hat and directly showed his face. The current Xian Hongyu looked more carefree than before. Although traveling was difficult, it had its own flavor. Seeing the shocking scenery, it was all worth it. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.